Yo, what's up, guys?
Oh, say can oh shit! I messed up.
uh,
Okay.
yeah. No, we'll make it work. How's it going?
Going good. We're live.
Yeah, live. It's the only way we like to do it, right?
10
Uh,
episodes.
so yeah, welcome everybody to Latino Free Minds podcast, episode 100. We made it this far. Don't forget to share the show, help us grow. Today's special show for us, number 100. I remember when we started, I read a couple stats that said 90% of podcasts don't make it to episode 3, and that after that, 90% of those don't make it to episode 20. So, I knew that wasn't going to be the case with us because we set out to do one thing, and that was break the manipulation. And we established that on our first episode with myself and Danny. Um, we knew that it had been happening for years and it will still continue to happen. We're hoping our contributions to it make it less effective. Um, we've had some great conversations, various topics, various guests, a lot of real genuine people that are just trying to live life as freely as possible. So as we hit this milestone, we see where we've been and where we want to go. Our focus hasn't been to go viral, but to make people think, even if it's only one person at a time. We're not here to copy and paste what everyone else is sharing. That's the easy road. We're taking the hard, original route. Um, we haven't been here to put fear in you or make you reactionary type of person. Our goal has been to enlighten you with a thoughtful perspective and always keeping it original. So thank you to all the guests that we've had in the first 100 episodes. And to the guests of the next 100 episodes, you got some real big shoes to fill. So you got to raise the bar, so to speak. I also want to thank Danny. I know we joked around in the past, imagining having conversations on a podcast, and one day you said, I'm ready. And, thanks for committing to this and jumping in this together. You know, couldn't have done it without you. And Christian, thank you, man, for jumping in somewhere around episode 10 or 13. We all work and sometimes work or life gets in the way of the podcast, but you stepped up and you've been on board ever since. And Gio's not on, but he's given us a lot of tips and insight behind the scenes. And, he's filled in some episodes. So I want to thank him for his contributions. So to every single person that has shared anything we do or spread the word about us, thank you. There's no stopping us now. So let's get it cracking. Danny, how do you feel about getting to this point and where we can hopefully be in the next 100 episodes?
Well, like you said, the beginning was just pointing out the manipulation. And, we talk about doing this for genuine reasons, not just to get clicks and follows and, popularity. It's just genuine conversation to talk about these things and make it okay to talk about these things. As we've been doing the podcast, last 100 episodes. How long has that even been? Is it like 2 years or something like that? Or
Yeah, October 2022 is when we started.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So even then, I noticed a difference in me. One of the things that we committed to is pointing out the manipulation, talk about our experience with that, and learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have to admit, the learning side of it, um, we have learned a lot, but I think we there's a lot more to learn, obviously. And I want to continue that. And I know that we're doing things right now, in commitment to learning more about the system that we live in, and the manipulation that occurs with it. The United States of America is a great country. It's obvious, because everybody wants to come here. Land of opportunity. If you work really hard, you can achieve the goals that you set your mind to. Um, but there is a system,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. They're trying to keep us down. They're trying to divide and conquer us, and that's the whole purpose. Uh, Identifying the manipulation, identifying what the system is trying to do. And one of the things that I think about a lot is, since we've been doing the podcast, have we learned to identify the manipulation or what they're trying to do, or is it just that they've made it that obvious that everybody just sees it right now? And I think it's both.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of people think that today's technology and social media is bad, and if you look at things through a lens of pessimism and negativity, I would agree with you. But look at all the positive things that come out of social media, the internet, the technology that we have right now, is that we're able to do that because of that.
Hmm.
And there's people in droves waking up and opening their eyes and seeing that manipulation that we're talking about. So if you look at things through a lens of optimism, um, I hope that you can see that it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's what we make it,
Hmm.
and if we just keep that mindset, we will continue to do positive things. Um, let's see. I did want to touch on something else here. So 2024 um, obviously was a rough year. There's a lot of things that were happening, but at the same time, we kind of joked around about us, an episode being validation, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of the things that we had talked about in on the podcast or in private conversations and stuff like that, they actually came to fruition. So when I say validation, is that look, we're not educated, we didn't go to college or anything like that. Our life journey, you know, didn't have that in there for us, right?
Hmm.
But you know what the interesting thing is that common sense prevails. So, when we do have educated people that are gaslighting us and telling us things like there's more than two genders, I didn't have to go to a 4-year college or have a PhD or master's or anything like that to know that that's not true. Okay, just to keep it clean.
Hmm.
And it just shows that when people stand up and they hold their education over us and tell us that they know better than us and what's better for us, you don't have to take that road. You don't have to do that.
Hmm.
Just use your common sense, and listen and talk to your peers.
Yeah, for sure. Christian, well, how about you? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, honestly, I thought Mike Lindell would have hit us up by now and given us some free pillows or something like that. But it's been a cool journey. It's been a long time coming. And it's something where we had to get out of our comfort zone to be on screen or be, you know, I almost said get spread, but just
Mhm.
get passed around right on social media. It's different seeing yourself every now and then in a clip or two, and it's a little difficult. But if we don't, who will?
Mhm.
And it not to say that we're doing much, but I think we're on the right track, and we've moved a couple stones, I think, along the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been good, and I wouldn't want to do it with any other host, so it's good. 100 episodes. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I think you both made some valid points. You know what I mean? And you know, I just think that like I said, we're not trying to go viral. We're just trying to say some stuff that hopefully other people can talk about on their own, right? Um, so hopefully, like I said, even if it's one at a time, people just start to think about things more. Especially now, I mean, we can see, right? Obviously, biggest news of the week is Trump got inaugurated and all that, and with the changes they're making, with the things they're doing, that manipulation is gonna. It seems like it's gonna try to get going again, right? Like full speed, and that's just from our perspective, right? We kind of see it happening. So, we're gonna speak about things, and we're not always right. We're also not always wrong, but we're gonna talk about it, let people know how we feel, and you know, we'll learn we'll learn what we can, right? And I think that's been the cool thing about these doing these episodes and these 100 shows is just the amount of stuff we've been able to learn on just various topics, right? Most of the stuff we've done has been political because we did talk to a lot of candidates, but um, you know, we talked about different things, and that's what I look forward to. Just the new things we're going to talk about that maybe we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, the golden age. We get to report on the golden age now. So,
For sure, for sure, man. Well, I mean, it's been 24 hours since over 24 hours since Trump got in. Is there anything for you, Danny or Christian, that right off the bat stood out?
For me, honestly, no. We knew that he was already going to come in with the plan. He had already had the agenda set up. Um, he he's kind of an open book when it comes to talking about what he plans on doing. He talks about it all the time. It's refreshing to see someone that actually does what they say they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the attacks don't surprise me. Um, again, we're getting pulled, left and right when people do stupid things that are associated with them. But that's it's important not to overreact to what legacy media is reporting on. I mean, I was listening to something. I was listening to a podcast, and it was a panel of people, and there was a liberal on the panel, and he was just regurgitating, repeating the same old things over and over and over again. And it's like these people, that's why they lost. And that's what the host pointed out, is that that's why they lost, because they're hanging on to points that make absolutely no sense. And it has to do, again, I'll bring it back up again, is that they just brought up the two gender question. They couldn't even answer what a woman is. So if we're in 2025, with all the technology that we have right now, and these people, this is what they're stuck on, and that and they think that that's something that the citizens of the United States, you know, um, think about,
Mm-hmm.
and is a big issue for us. Newsflash, it's not. You could say it 1,000, a million times. There's still only two genders, and when you bring up, points about defending pedophiles and shortening their sentences or releasing them, or lowering the age of consent, you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Abandon those thoughts, abandon those ideas, come up with a new game plan, and come back to the field after you do. And it just it would be really hard for anything to surprise me right now.
Mm. You, Christian?
well, it was just refreshing seeing my president, a president walking up and down, and, he walked into the helicopter. He had three different balls, pause. But, he was in full attendance, dancing, cutting cakes with swords. He was doing it all, man. I fell asleep by 9 o'clock. I'm already like, all right, man, is this the third ball? I'm about done, and he was out there, man. So seeing somebody with cognitive brain function was, just start there. It's good, So, and then some of the stuff that he was signing right away. You know, that's good. Understanding what these bills are before we just have our politicians sign on to whatever. That's good, man. I think that was number two. You know, and then the climate accords, that was number three. Good. You know, putting America first. That's always good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I wouldn't say I was shocked by anything, but it was, I guess, the best word I can find for it. It was like refreshing to see, you know, things in action that are actually going to benefit us, or correct course. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. So there's still a lot of time. Obviously, 4 years to go. This is day one, but I liked the, how could I put it? Just kind of that focus, right? That focus they came in with, and the just the action, that they took, because you could talk about it, right? And that's one of my the things too, like with the Biden administration. Um, I shared a clip of before Biden got in office. Jake Tapper was asking him about supposedly Trump wanting to do preemptive pardons, and he was saying basically that's not something you're going to see in his administration. And the day he leaves, he gives the pardon to Fauci, Cheney, Milley, and his whole family, basically. You know, so and that's part of the gaslighting, part of the manipulation, is that Biden told people, "I'm gonna do all this for you, and I'm better than Trump," and yada yada. But the only people that at the end he ended up helping out was his friends and his family, and
Smart
everybody else.
syndicate.
Yeah, everyone else is kind of just left to, you know, deal with whatever the consequences of their policies. So I think that's where I think it's refreshing to see some actual reversal of some of that, and just kind of headed in the right path.
Yeah. And even then, you already started seeing funny business. You know, I think last night I was seeing that there was a specific police. Is it Washington D.C.? He wasn't. They're trying to release the January 6th prisoners,
Hmm.
right? And they're like, oh no, we're done for today. We'll try tomorrow, and even tomorrow we will see. But if you're wondering who you're gonna meet tomorrow, it's probably gonna be me too. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's funny business. I saw how they kind of got set up at that church.
Mm.
That's not cool. That's not the right place to get up out of your seat and go, "Hey, shut up!" So they know where. But they 24 hours, they couldn't wait either. So
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, man. Well, um, like I said, we got 4 years to go, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Is there anything in your mind, like say, like, okay, in these 4 years, I hope he gets this done,
Peacefully. No, I'm
or just
kidding.
in general, like, anything that he ran on that obviously might take, you might need the Senate and the House to pass, but is there
Well,
anything that you guys think, like, I hope he does this?
I think
Well,
finishing that wall.
I
You
think
know.
there's things that he needs to do, like
Mhm.
it's a must. All right, like Christian just brought up, there was an executive order just to bring back common sense. It's like if you're gonna present a bill, you got to have time to read it before you
Mhm.
can pass it, right? Before you can vote on it. So there's three of us here right now. Is
Mhm.
that not common sense that that's what you would expect to happen?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want common sense back. The Constitution is there to protect our rights. They've been slowly chipping away at the Constitution, and I'm talking about the politicians, left and right.
Mhm.
I want that back. I want the Constitution to stand on its own. So whatever he needs to do, so that after he leaves, There's no freaking shenanigans anymore. And it stands on its own like they used to stand on its own. If it's, reversing things like when they're taking our rights away after 9/11,
Hmm.
our privacy, I want that back. I want it to go back the way that it is intended to be. And that's the check and balances, that's the accountability that we need to hold them to. Because if we go, okay, the two genders and all that stuff, we go back to common sense. Is like, I don't need you to work on that. Those solutions are already there. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? Like the solutions, like about making America healthy again. The solutions are already there. They know how to do that. I was just listening to something with AI and the medical field. And Gloria actually made a comment that, she's been trying to get, seen at the doctors. And, you know how the system works. You have to go
Hmm.
get the primary, and then they assess you, and then they, refer you to a specialist and all that BS. So she's been getting more help through AI on the internet with health questions.
Wow.
Okay. So this guy that I was just watching a little bit earlier was talking about some innovative technology where it's going to help the health system. So just imagine with the capabilities that they have there, they set up the AI so that it looks at your symptoms, and rather than trying to prescribe you some pharmaceutical drug, that it puts you on a preventative health plan. We know what that health plan is going to be. It's not rocket science. Eat healthy food, no dyes, no uh, steroids, prebiotic, food. It's the answers are already there. The system already knows what needs to be done. We just need people that are going to implement it straight up. To me, you ask me, does that seem like it's hard? I can get a panel of medical specialists, nutritionists that can give me the freaking answers. I don't need a PhD for that. But if I'm a leader, I can get those people, and that can be implemented right away. Now, in order to implement it and restructure the system, okay, that's going to take a little bit of time, but the answers are already there.
Hmm.
So I just want to go back to where the Constitution is not being stripped away. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Yeah, man. AI shouldn't have paid these guys $18. They shouldn't have raised the minimum wage. Now you got kiosks everywhere. You imagine the implications of doctors being subbed out for AI? Could be good. Could be good. You know?
Well, we don't have doctors right now. There's doctors. How many doctors have you heard that when they went to school, um, they didn't have to pass like a nutritional class? It was probably very minimal what they had to,
You know?
complete,
A
and that's it.
kinesiology class.
mhm. Yeah.
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 So
No, I think like I said, I think we're headed in the right direction. You know what I mean? And I think those changes, common sense changes, are going to start to be put into place. So, you know, we'll see how it all turns out. I know that the Biden administration and there somebody there at the end, you know, they banned the red dye. Um, I think they did that because they knew it was going to happen anyways. I feel like that was one of those things where they just kind of did it before they left to be like, well,
mm-hmm.
you know, we did that, you know,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
which is, you know, I think I think that's what that move was. It wasn't so much that if Trump or RFK weren't running on that and talking about doing that, I don't think they would have done it. Basically.
No, and let's not get fooled here either. Is that they're trying to be the ones that said it first, but I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat or party affiliation, because look at the decades. that they could have banned it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a revolving door, of who's had the majority and who could have made the changes and who could have been the one that said, we're going to take care of the American citizens and their health, and no one did. So I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat that raised their hand first. All that matters is the person that stood up and really fought for it to make the change. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what? Talking about surprises, it wouldn't surprise me if something happens and they back up and they don't come through with that promise. It's sad to say,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No. But you're right. As long as, yeah, 100% right. As long as the right thing is being done, it doesn't matter if a Democrat did it or a Republican did it. Just do the right thing. You know, do the right thing for the people. Um, it's funny because obviously with the fires in California, um, even Newsom right now, right? I think he's what did he tweet out? Something about getting rid of all the regulations and red tape so that these people can rebuild. And it's like, yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. But it's like, why don't you do that for the entire state? It's like, it's kind of like admitting, like, yeah, we got too much bullshit, that stops people from building or whatnot here in this state. But I get it. I get why they're doing it in this case. But it's like it should just be that way all the time. Do the right thing all the time, not just when it's convenient.
Well, and look who they're catering to. It's like, why is it okay for those people? You get rid of the red tape for that situation and not for some other. Maybe it could be two people, three people that got affected. It could be one person that got affected in Northern California, in
Hmm.
it, or Inland Empire, or any part of the state or country for that matter. Why does it have to come to this to make this exception?
Hmm.
Like those words just coming out of his mouth is validation again that these people don't care about their constituents.
Hmm.
And
Is
that it
that
could be so easy.
Hmm.
they
Yeah,
just want to line their pockets, man.
100%. So we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out. I think there's some policies already that I believe I saw that our AG here in California already opened up a lawsuit against Trump. I think it has to do with the
Dope.
deportations and stuff like that.
Mm.
Um, but that's one of those things that we've said it many times on the podcast, right? When it comes to illegal immigration and all that, it's like we're not against immigrants, right? But we have said that today's border problem or illegal immigrant problem isn't the same as it was, when our parents or grandparents came in. It's a whole different conversation, and it's a whole different type of people that are trying to get into this country. And we had Nick on last week, and some of the stuff that he was telling us about was part of the problem, right? And I don't know, I've heard this saying at work, but there's always that one person that messes it up for everybody, right? And in this case, we have a lot of people that you know are trying to do some bad towards us, that are in a sense messing it up for the people that want to come here and do exactly what our grandparents or parents did.
Just
But
work.
yeah, just work. But at the same time, me, since I was a kid growing up, I always knew, all right, if there was a person that was in your family or a friend of the family that was illegal, like as a kid, I knew, okay, hey, it's a risk that one day this fool might just be picked up and he won't be here. You know what I mean? You're
And
gonna
it
call him
happened.
and he's gonna come back, right? And but that's as a kid, since a kid I've known that, and I feel like nowadays people just kind of, uh, I guess, expect, or I don't know what it is. Like it's they're guaranteed to stay. You know what I mean? And that's certain states have given to that, but it's not the
Well,
same. It's not the same thing. And we've said
I
it before.
I just think some of these people don't really understand the implications of the immigrants. And what really got to me while I was watching it, because I barely saw the video as soon as I got home, was when they were set up at the church, right? And she throws in all these downtrodden people, the LGBTQ, the trans kids, and this is at a church. And then Snow starts saying, these people that clean the toilets, these people that work the long shifts, the people that pick our food, the people that, and that in itself, they don't realize how crazy that sounds. She still has the old, stigma of Mexican people, right? That's
Mm.
what she's portraying to me. When she's talking about immigrants, when we got Nick Wilson talking about Chinese, you
Yeah.
know so it's in itself, they don't see. I've heard Dave Chappelle, whether you like him or not, say diet racism, but it's that kind of stuff that they can't. It's it's crazy. The illegal Mexicans that I know are building the homes, they're building the infrastructure, and they're so quick to just be like, they're washing your dishes, they're doing all that. And it's, yeah, man, there's what we're talking about are those criminals, man. I mean, you got Nick Wilson saying they're taking pictures of our air bases, of SpaceX. These are all you know uh
Power plants,
since come
water
on.
reservoirs,
You,
everything.
Yep.
yeah,
Well,
I
Airports.
yeah. Well, here we go. What's up, TMR?
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
Good,
got man.
good, good.
That's gone.
Thanks for popping into this episode 100. You are an ex guest, a friend. We worked a lot the past year. Um,
Yeah,
thank you for jumping on. How have you been, man?
good man. Just trying to stay busy, man. Yeah, you came in clutch when we did the year song every day thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you definitely came in clutch. If you guys don't know, so I did a song every day, and uh, Dan right here, he was like, "Let me get on the remix. Let me do a Spanish version, or let me drop a verse." So since I had to do one every day, he came in clutch a lot of times because I was like, "Man, I need a break on some of these days." But he actually came in and helped me out. So I definitely couldn't have done the song every day thing without Dan. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to him, anything he does, as well as the movement, the Latino Free Minds and stuff. So just to see you guys a part of it as well is a beautiful thing, and I'm just appreciative to everybody who's here today.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. I asked the guys earlier when we started. Obviously Trump's in office now. Felt I think I think I might have texted the group. I said for as fast as time flies, these past 4 years took forever.
Yeah, bro.
and and just I asked the guys, is there in these first 24 hours, what have you seen from Trump that I would say maybe surprised you or you're super happy about? And is there something that before these 4 years are done, because he did a lot in just in over 24 hours, in these next 4 years, is there something that you say, oh man, I hope this gets accomplished?
Um, well, I'm just watching at this moment specifically because so far he's gotten the ball rolling even before he got in office. He's gotten the respect of world leaders. He's united all of tech. Um, he's generated revenue from worldwide investors to create jobs in AI. Um, and then another 500 billion he just announced for the AI. Um, he is not alone. He's not only trying to take care of us, he's trying to take care of the world. And then now he has Elon involved, and he's literally talking about the universe by putting the flag on Mars. So what I'm seeing so far is I'm seeing a lot of uh, good traction, good motion, good movement. But yeah, there is still 4 years left, and but he wants to get the ball rolling year one, as you see. He doesn't want to play around. He wants loyal people who want to work, and he wants to create jobs, have a lot of fun. He's an animal. I mean, I don't know if
Hmm.
you guys saw. I was at a lot of the rallies
Hmm.
because I wanted to see for myself because they're like, "Oh, Trump's racist," or "California's not feeling Trump." As you saw, the map this year was it was pretty
Yeah.
much red with a little bit of blue crust in California.
Yeah.
It looked like the map in California looked like an uncrustable. Like it was turning red. I was like, wow, how is it that red? But then I went to the Coachella rally. Wow, lines around
Hmm.
the corner, people standing in line till they passed out. I don't know if any of you guys were at the Coachella, but it was wild. Like it's a flex when you go, hey, I know this is enemy territory, but I'm gonna go to California and flip the state red, and he
Hmm.
did. It was lines and lines of people. It was the minority was white people. It was mostly Mexican, uh, some black
Shout out.
people, and then few white people.
Shout out.
Right. So that,
Yeah.
but and then I went to other places. There's black people. I went to New York. So people were saying all this stuff out there on the media, like Trump's this, Trump's that. He's racist. He's homophobic. All these things that they have been saying about him. But when I went to New York, when I went to Cali, when I went to Philly, when I went to I went to the second Butler one, it wasn't true. People are rocking with him.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
like every demographic, Indian, gay, straight, whatever. Like young voters. I saw
All
like
the genders.
All the
well,
genders.
no, it was a gay man or a gay woman. Like
Something.
if you're voting for Trump, you're pretty much like I'm a woman or a man,
Yeah.
but they may be straight or gay, but that didn't matter. The whole point is it doesn't matter. People were still lining up in big numbers, and I saw it with my eyeballs for Trump. And then I went to New York. I don't know if you saw the video. Like I argued with people in New York. Like
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw that one. I was on the street,
That's a
Yeah.
feat.
and because they were like, "Why don't you go over there with your Trump people?" And I'm just paraphrasing. Then why don't you go over there with the Trump people? I was like, if I wanted to go over there and get praise, I would go over there. But that's not why I'm over here. I'm over here because I want to see, hey, can we come to a certain understanding? Is it lies that a whole bunch of these liberals are super extremist left? And I found out that a lot of it was true. A lot of them are extremists and woke. And I was
Hmm.
just like, they were yelling at me. They're being aggressive. And I was just like, we can do that. I was born in Jersey. If you want to do the whole East Coast thing, we could do it. But I don't want to do that. I just want to talk with y'all. And I talked to like two people who actually wanted to talk with us, the team. But other than that, there was a lot of nasty people out there. Like, I'm just like, yo, you really don't even know why you hate the dude. And because of that, you hate me. I'm like, what? But I just think it's so funny because I told them that he was gonna win, and they didn't listen. So I was just
Yeah.
like, you, because the thing was, the main thing was they underestimated it. They
Sure
said,
did.
"Oh, we don't need to campaign in the hood. We got it. We don't need to campaign with the gay. We
We
got it.
got him.
We don't got to campaign with the Mexican. We got it." And
Hmm.
what happened?
They didn't have him.
They got left.
They did it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, it's like you said, right? The focus and the action that they came in with right off the bat. They were ready to get rolling, and I'm actually going to add someone else right now. One of the actions that he took that a lot of people were waiting for was pardoning J6, as he calls them, hostages. And we have Jesus Rivera here, and he was pardoned yesterday. Congrats, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good day. Good day.
Yeah, man. I think you're on mute, TMR.
You muted, bro.
But Jesus, thank you for coming on, man. Um, I, I
You're muted, bro.
yeah, I think you're on mute, T. Um, but tell the people a little about your story. I wanted to have you on just because, you know, the whole J6 hostages thing, like that's real. You know, people, we felt that a lot of people, well, almost everybody, basically, right, were unjustly treated, and they had to go through, you know, a bunch of bullshit, to be honest, and just kind of tell the people your story and kind of basically how yesterday went for you overall, just kind of finally seeing that and hearing that go through.
Man, so I'll try to keep it semi short, bro. January 20th, 2021, I got arrested by the FBI. My home got swatted. Over 30 plus FBI agents on misdemeanor charges. Um, and I was arrested and charged with the 4 misdemeanor charges for my, my help with the January 6th as a participant or riot or insurrectionist, whatever they wanted to call us. But yeah, I was there documenting the events, man. I was actually there with Topher and a couple of the other guys documenting some of the stuff they were doing. It was the last hoorah that we were going to have with all the conservative influencers and everybody coming out. So I was just like, let's go document, let's go have some fun. And I'm an independent journalist, so for me, we went there specifically to document whatever was going to happen. Because for me, I've been to so many different Trump rallies, and I was going on this trip during the 2020 election, and we would go to the rallies, and at every single rally we went to, we were getting attacked by either Antifa or some type of BLM, right? So I figured, look, we're going to the biggest Trump rally in all of the world at this point. Something crazy is going to happen. There's no doubt that there's going to be a clash with the Titans kind of situation. But to my demise, when we got there, we went to the BLM plaza. I went with Topher and all those other people. We went to go check it out, and there was nobody there. It was kind of weird how this is their big opportunity, their grand opportunity to start something with us, and there was none of them. Nobody was there. And mind you, we could talk infiltration all day, but that's here nor there at this point. But the one thing is that the amount of Trump supporters and people that are part of the MAGA movement and everything else, it was a great day, man. Both January 5th and January 6th. So, going to the Capitol, we kind of came late after everything was going on. And we were actually at a different area. I was with Forgiato, I was with Craig, I was with Topher, all those guys that came out there that day. And we were all eating, and we were getting text messages and everything. They're like, hey, they're storming the Capitol. And we were like, this is crazy. There's no way. So I told my wife, I said, hey, we came out here to get this footage. We got to get it. If I don't, I'll kick myself in the butt for not getting this footage. Mind you, everything, and I've said this multiple times, the footage that I thought I was getting was going to skyrocket my career, and it did the exact opposite. So January 20th, 2021, I was arrested, like I said, by the FBI. First person in Florida to be arrested in Florida. And again, it was on misdemeanor charges. And as my boy knows, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, 10 years as well. So Semper Fi, I can finally say that to this man face to face.
Yeah.
not on a little post, but yeah, man. So from that moment on, I was being investigated. I was on pretrial confinement, so I couldn't leave certain areas. I'd always have to ask for permission to go places, do things. I was denied work because, again, my job as independent journalist was to document things. So everything that I had to do as far as work goes kind of went out the window. One, because the FBI, when they came to raid my home, they took all of my equipment. I mean, you're talking $14,000-$15,000 of equipment, brand new computer, my camera, laptop, tablets, phones. They took it all. They took everything we owned. And then, obviously, as you guys know, or most people know, the censorship with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, they shut me down completely. Like, they completely censored us, banned us from going on the platform. And that was everything that I did all my entire work on, was all Facebook and Instagram. That's where my business was, where I did my stuff. So when all that went down, it was over at that point. Couldn't find work. It was pretty dumb. I literally tried getting different jobs and was getting denied. Nothing was happening. So I was just like, dude, Burger King's right up the street. I'm going to try to get this job just to see. And like within hours, they're like, sorry, we can't go forward with your process. Come to find out through somebody, I'm not going to say who, but come to find out, someone ran a background report for me and realized that it said the first thing is like in bold letters that I've been. What was it? I basically was flagged by the FBI. So I
Wow.
couldn't get work regardless. It was for the investigation. So it doesn't matter what I was applying for, unless it was somebody who was doing it not through the computer or not. I couldn't get a job. And again, as a conservative filmmaker, I was already blacklisted here in my local area, Pensacola. Because if
Mm.
you're a conservative filmmaker, obviously, film. Anybody who knows anything about film, majority of that world is very liberal. So when they
Yeah.
found out that I was Trump conservative, they're like, "We're not bringing him on anymore." So I wasn't able to get work even in my local area. So it was pretty bad for quite some time. It was pretty rough, but I was blessed. I ended up getting work with my church, just to get by. They took care of us.
It's good.
Uh, so yesterday was amazing. Literally, I tell everybody it was literally 4 years to the day from the day that I got arrested and charged to the day that I got my full unconditional pardon. So
Awesome.
four complete years, man. But with all that, the main thing that I came from, and there's documentation. I think you've seen it, Daniel. There's like a 9-minute thing documentary.
Mhm.
Our portion of it tells our story. If you go to my Instagram or TikTok, it's on there. But it follows me and my wife through what we went through. We talk about our story, and then they actually follow me to prison. So my wife has the unfortunate opportunity to say bye to her husband for
Mm.
a potential 8 months. And what we did, and what we tell everybody, to include my children in this video, if you ever watch it, the main thing that we took from this was we knew it was God's will for it to happen. So when we talked about prison, we said this is not going to be a prison sentence. This is going to be a mission trip, and that's exactly what we did with it. We turned everything that they tried to turn on us that was evil into something extremely good. And I can tell you, I've been on that mission trip every day since the day that I went into that prison. So it's
Mm.
been nonstop, man. It's been completely good. As a Christian, we've been extremely obedient, and with that obedience has come a lot of good things in our home and our family. As you could tell, yesterday was
Mhm.
ultimate one where
Yeah.
we were all pardoned, man. So um,
That's
for us, all glory to God, and we're just
amen.
you know, yesterday we were talking, me and Mark were talking. It's like, man, we've spent these last 4 years trying to get vindicated. We've been spending 4 years trying to make sure that these January 6th were taken care of. We've been doing that because, again, what people fail to remember is there's a lot of us at the very beginning of this that went through all of this before it was cool. And we've been
Mhm.
trying to tell people, stay off this, don't talk about that, get away with this. And people just started getting hit up. The FBI came after everybody. But it was weird because it's like, yeah, we spent 4 years trying to vindicate and we just got it. So now what? What do we do now? What's next? So that's it, man. We don't know what the next story is. Again, we're gonna, whatever God pushes us to do, that's what we do. But we do know the negative parts of January 6th is over. That's completely done. There's no going back. We're exonerated essentially. They can't do nothing to us. They can't touch us no more. They can't. They can say everything they want to say about us. We've been exonerated, and
Yeah.
and we were exonerated in probably the best way possible, live on TV for everybody to see it.
Yeah.
People are going to hate whatever, but again, how many people do you know went to prison or been to prison for 8 months on misdemeanor charges? How many people have been raided by the FBI for misdemeanor charges? How many people do you know have gone through stuff like that? I know about 500 to 600 of us that dealt with that personally. But these January 6th pardons are huge because, again, like yesterday, I was talking to my buddy Kevin Creek, who I became really good friends with in prison. I met him there, and he was arrested, and he got felony charges, which was the lower level of, I think it was the 111A. It was technically violent, but not violent. Like he pushed a cop out of the way, basically. And his story is very simple. He literally was holding on to an older guy, and the cop was swinging on him, so he pushed or kicked the cop to move him.
Mm.
Again, he was just protecting an older person, but to them, they called him the Mad Mongrel. He's another Marine, by the way. Mad Mongrel is the name they gave him.
You Marines keep getting in trouble.
Do it.
Hey, I was there. I was there on Jan 6 too, but I was just
Yeah.
not in that spot.
I know. We looking for
So Marines were deep.
Yeah, and if you guys didn't know, we were as far as the amount of individuals who were arrested, there was over 160 veterans that were arrested, charged, and have been sent to prison. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and as a Marine, I could say for the first time, the Army led the way on that one with the amount of people that were arrested. So it's all right. You know, it's good to go. But Marines came a second one out. But, you know, again, going back to what I was talking about, my buddy Kevin didn't even know he was getting a pardon. And I called him and I said, hey, man, how do you feel about this pardon? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, bro, we all got pardoned. So I had to send him the link that said, you know, basically, and he was, you know, ecstatic because he lost everything, man. He had an amazing business in Atlanta, a roofing business. He still does. But as you know, anybody who is a J6er or even, you know, someone who was related to or some type of acquaintance, if you owned a business, they came after your business. They start sending people and giving you bad remarks and all that other stuff. So people don't go to you no more. And then people are just like, hey, you know, unfortunately, I can't do business with you because it just looks bad on us now. So he lost all that. And then when he gets sent to prison, the unfortunate situation where, you know, his wife came and said, I want a divorce, you know. So, and this is a guy who's been married to a lady for a very long time. So he's gotten the worst of it. So yesterday when he found out, when I called him, I was like, hey, congratulations, you got a pardon. And he was ecstatic because he also had a felony, right? And if you have a felony, you lose so many rights. But as of yesterday, every individual who had a felony, that's gone too.
That's
so
awesome.
They all 100% get their lives back. They get their weapons back if they want to get their weapons back. They can go vote in the elections again. It's the normalcy is back, right? We're back to normal. We're back to square one, and now we just got to see what the rest of the J6ers are going to do with it. I hope that we sue the hell out of the government and every FBI, you know, affiliate, agent, anybody who is involved in destroying our lives and our families and our just our livelihood in general. I believe every one of them have to pay just the same way that they made us pay for something as dumb as a misdemeanor.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, one of the cool things of having you know, TMR and you on right now at the same time is, you know, you were there and then at the time TMR and Topher had the number one song, you know what I mean?
Still my favorite song. It's still my favorite
you
song.
know,
Man.
and
I told him, I said, I'm ready. I'm waiting for a round 2 on that song, man. You got to make a part 2. We need a vindication part of the Patriot coming out. That'd be dope. Having some.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but me and because before you got in here, I was talking about it, but I did a rap every single day. So I did 366 raps every single day, and there were some Spanish versions that we've done, and then other collaborations that I've done with Dan, and we've done songs for y'all.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Yeah,
of them. I've seen a couple
for
of them.
sure. So like I was doing my part, but like, I mean, they were going after everybody. They took the Patriot off. You know that, right?
Yeah, I remember
They
that.
took it off of everything.
Yep.
So they were coming after everybody. They're coming after music, coming after businesses, coming after military, coming after you, families, marriages. They came for everything. So I mean, everybody has different levels, and I just I'm just so glad you're out of that, man, because you had to deal with some of the worst of it. So I'm just glad that all that's alleviated, man. Like,
Yeah, it was a lot,
you can put
man.
it behind you.
We're definitely, you know, my wife is ecstatic to put it behind us for sure. She hates everything about it, and I understand because you got to remember, like, we come from a very nuclear family, a very Christian based family, and for me to be the head of the household, being pulled away from that, just, you know, we were fighting to the death that it wasn't going to happen, and praying that God was going to intervene in our parting, and you know that didn't happen. So we knew, all right, this is where you need us. Don't know why. Well, I know now why, but he did, and my wife had to be mom, husband, you know, caretaker, nurturer, everything. She had to be the entire thing for someone who was very dependent on her husband. She had to do a complete 180 in her thinking, her way of life, and everything else. And we both grew extremely well spiritually and everything else from this situation. And we're better people for it. I mean, it did suck going to prison. It did suck going through it, but we are much better people for it. And for us, you know, I can't say this for every J6, and I wish I could, but for us specifically, we wanted to come out of this with victor stories, not victim stories, because we're not. Right? They tried to make us victims, but we are victorious in all this, and we've been victorious the entire process. And again, we've just allowed God to walk us through this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a Bible believing Christian or you believe in God, the closer you get to Him, the more crap you're gonna go through, and it's not easy. It's not easy, man. But it's that obedience. And again, when you are obedient, God will provide when you ask for it. God will provide it. So as simple as this. Let me give you a quick example of one of our victories. So while I was on probation, we had a situation where I was, even though I was on probation and a domestic terrorist, right? The government decided, hey, we're going to let you be a foster parent. I was such a bad person that the government was like, your domestic terrorist here, but we're going to let you raise some kids. But thank God the kids are my niece and my nephew, right?
Nice.
So we were able to get my niece and my nephew. And at the time, we were living in a good sized house. It's my wife's family house, but it was too small for our family. We already had 4 kids, right? We added the two, mind you, one's a baby. He's barely about to be 6 months, and then my niece is 3 years old now. We had 4 bedrooms. It was a makeshift five. We created 2 bedrooms out of nowhere, one bathroom, and our oldest is 11, and my youngest of the four are twins who are now 8. So we prayed about it when all this was going on, and we asked God, literally, hey, we I think we've done enough. Is there a way you can provide us a home, something we could all move into? And I'm telling you guys, within weeks, literally within weeks of us talking about it, a realtor got us into a brand new house, much bigger than the house, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's big enough for all of us. We spend all our time here. The best part about it, I might say, it might upset some people, it might not. I don't know. I know people don't like talking about their mortgage. The understanding God has a sense of humor. You guys want to know how much my mortgage is a month every month?
1776.
656.
What'd you say, Daniel?
1776.
Right on the dot.
Oh wow.
So for such an amazing size house, brand new, like we went through everything. I was told I couldn't use my VA loan again, all this stuff. They got my VA loan approved, and the last thing when we saw our mortgage, we thought we were going to pay like $2,500 a month. That's what we were like. Oh, this is going to be tough, but we got to do it because we need the room. Let me get that thing that says your mortgage is 1776. My independence when I got back into my new home. It was my independence. God was showing me proof right there. Hey,
Yeah.
you've been doing well. You've been obedient. You know what 1776 means to you. So this is my proof to you that you're doing well. So it's there, man.
Yeah, in a few years, then you'll do a refinance under Trump, and you'll be at a 1.6%.
There it is.
No, but it's good to have you on, and like you said, man, it's good. Happy for all the people that got their pardon and all that, and we're headed in the right direction, right? We're off to a I would say a fantastic start.
Dude, January's been crazy, crazy.
So, oh yeah. So, um, it's just one of those things. Like, we'll see where we end up 4 years from now. But what did he call it, Christian? What'd you say?
The golden era,
The golden
the
era,
golden
right?
age.
So, we'll see. We'll see. What happens there?
It's gonna be good, guys. It's gonna be good for all of us. I'm gonna tell you right now, though, it's gonna be a little crazy in the U.S. for a little bit. It's gonna be a little
Yeah.
crazy, but we got to handle it. With the deportations and everything else, the non-censorship, and the people we're going to be fighting on the left about that. It's going to be a crazy little ride, but I think it's going to be fun, and we are going to make it out at the end of this, and it's just going to be amazing, guys. I'm excited about what the rest of these next 4 years have for us. I really am.
Well, Danny says this all the time, and I think it's kind of part of that is what is the thing you say, Danny? With time, the truth. How do you say it?
The time the truth gets revealed. So,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened with the J6s. And I just want to thank you for your service and all the Marines, anybody that served in the military. Thank you for your service, and anybody that got that was in your situation. It didn't go in vain.
Right.
What you went through opened out a lot of people's eyes, and it kind of showed in what direction this government was going towards. And dare I say, it kind of got a lot of people to vote for Trump this time around. So, the experience that you guys probably went through uh, is what decided the outcome, of Trump becoming the president. You don't know. There's a lot of things that swayed people to vote that way. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And I tend to be optimistic in the way that you're talking, it was for a good reason, and good things are going to come to you. And we will pray for you and your family and all the J6ers, so that you can get back the lives that you had, and even better moving forward.
Yeah. Amen.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So no, it's good. What are you gonna say? Something, Christian?
No, well, it makes me think, well, that wasn't the last Capitol that got stormed. There's other organizations that were protesting, right, and doing their thing, and I want to know how many of them were arrested by the FBI for misdemeanors.
No, none of them.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, none of them arrested by the FBI.
There you go. So
They,
those are the eyes we need open. It's
yeah,
cool. That's
absolutely.
thank you, man.
I appreciate it, Christian. And you guys can see. I mean, you guys, your eyes are open, and I think the world, like Danny was saying, the world sees what's going on. We were persecuted, we were prosecuted.
Yep.
What they did to us, and they let the BLM riots go underneath. They let the stuff happen in Seattle just kind of go by the wayside. I mean, they took over. Trump even says that they took over a complete city. And these people, what did they get? A slap on the wrist? Even at the time when the Summer of Love happened, you had the Democratic Party throwing out, sponsorship saying, "Hey, let's pay for their way out." Um, everybody saw how hypocritical they've been, all the way up to the point where they've been saying Trump's going to use his administration to come after us. Well, you guys have been doing it for the last 4 years. Literally, at this point, you guys deserve it, but they're going to do it the right way. I guarantee you Trump's going to do it the right way. He's already firing people. People are leaving. People are resigning. He doesn't even have to do anything. They're doing it on their own. The fact that the J6 committee got a pardon, a presumably, what is it called? Presumptive pardon?
Preemptive.
Preemptive pardon. We'll see how far that goes. But, from everybody's understanding, you only get a pardon if there is some type of criminal charge against you.
Yeah.
So
If you've been convicted of something.
yeah, and they haven't, right? And those are the people that need to be held accountable. And I don't care if they go to prison or not, or if they're in handcuffs. That's not what I'm looking for. I want them to sit down and tell the truth about what happened that day. That's all. I want them to tell the truth and explain why they deleted videos and got rid of stuff, and why they were so on fire, putting people like myself, just your average American, through the torment that they put us through. That's all I want. I want accountability. That's it. That's it.
No, yeah.
It doesn't make sense when you hear AOC crying and saying she's scared for her life, right? And she was in a whole completely different building. That doesn't make your case better, right? She's added to that same flame, and it's just they never sequestered, right?
And what happened to AOC when she was found out that was a lie? Nothing.
Nothing.
They don't go back. There's
Yeah.
no apology from them.
And that's all part of the manipulation, right? Manipulating people's point of views, what they saw, talking about, was it Kamala that said it was worse than Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined or something? I don't know what she said.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're stupid. But that's the manipulating people, right? Playing on people's emotions, fears, and that, unfortunately, there are people that believe like January 6th was the worst day in history, and it's like, no, it's just probably the most manipulated day in history more than anything.
Well, off the bat, they tell you, people died that day, right? And the one I know that died is Babbitt.
Yeah.
So
Ashley Babbitt was murdered in front of people.
There you go.
It wasn't just death; she was murdered. There's actually 4 other J6ers that were protesters that day that also passed away at the protest. Roseanne Boylan was one. I can't remember Kevin Gleason, I think, or Philip. I can't remember the names exactly, but there was 4 total, to include Ashley Babbitt, that actually died that day. Roseanne Boylan was actually at the front of the tunnel, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen that footage multiple times, where Sarah McAbee's husband, he was one of the police officers that was trying to resuscitate Roseanne Boylan, and he got sent to prison. Thank God he's out yesterday. But he got sent to prison because he was trying to resuscitate her, and the cops were still beating and doing stuff, and he was pushing him out of the way, trying, like, literally covering her. And all this footage is out there for everybody to see, but they used all that to go against us, right? But she was somebody who died that day, and they tried to say, oh, she overdosed basically on ADD medication. And we're like, you got to take a lot of ADD medication to overdose. But basically they're like, oh, well, as soon as she died, they made sure, like, within a couple of days or within that week, that they cremated her body. So after that first what's it called, when the autopsy happened after the 1st autopsy, we couldn't go back and do another one. But her family's like, dude, she wasn't a druggie like the mainstream media has made her out to be.
Yeah.
And that's going further into investigation at this point, which is going to be even better investigated now that all of us have been pardoned, because the individuals that were there that day can now actually go and testify in front of whoever about what happened to Roseanne Boland specifically that day. But the other two also flashbangs, right? Both the flashbangs ended up giving these two gentlemen basically heart attacks. You know, they weren't well. Obviously, they had already bad problems, but the fact that they had flashbanged was what helped cause them to end up ultimately losing their lives. So 4 January 6ers did lose their lives at the hands of the DC Metropolitan Police. But they're going to talk to you about how all the police officers who died, but none of them died related to January 6th. They died months later or a few days later, mind you, by suicide, a few of them. And those are the ones that you should look into to find out why they died by suicide. But I think it was Officer Sicknick that the mainstream media and everybody played that January 6ers beat him to death with a fire hydrant, when it was obviously proven that he died of natural causes like a day later in the hospital.
Right.
He never even got hit by a fire extinguisher. But they played it out, man. The mainstream media played it out, and you can still go on to see CNN, CBS, MSNBC, all of those things, and you can type in "officer dies by fire hydrant," and you'll see the articles, and they haven't even pulled them. They're still holding on to that. So I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of defamation lawsuits against these news networks and our local news networks that try to put us through the ringer. Mine did the same thing, you guys. I was literally hired on for a news station, and those are the guys that were across the street filming when I don't even know if they were filming, but they were across the street when I got arrested by the FBI. So and that's part of my story too. It's another whole long process that I might have to deal with, or not. We'll see what happens. But you guys are probably going to hear a lot more stories about January 6th that you never even knew existed or happened. You know, like my good friend Victoria White, she was beaten over the head about 50 times with a baton forcefully, and you could see the officer just coming in, and he's just targeting her. She has a red hat on. He's just targeting her, and she's tiny, petite little white girl standing there with her hands up like this, and he's just going to town on her head.
Yeah,
you know?
and
she has a civil lawsuit against him right now too. So, you know, these are the things that need to come out. Those individuals, people like Officer Fanone, Officer Harry Dunn, freaking what's the Dominican dude? I think he is. What's his name? Sergeant G, whatever his name is. All these guys who lied under oath. Their lies got the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers sent to prison for 20 years. Their lies under oath is what gave these guys these sedition charges, right? So all that's going to come to light. All that's going to come to light. Everything they said, and regardless of if anything happens to them or not, it's coming to light.
Yeah.
And if anything is ruined, it's going to be their reputations for lying, and they're not going to be well loved in their communities anymore. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's crazy that, you know, people had to go through all that, and you know, for such a long time. But the good thing is that, you know, what happened yesterday with the pardon is kind of fixing that, you know what I mean? Righting that wrong, so to speak. So yeah, I hope, you know, I hope everybody that was mistreated through the justice system, you know, I hope that you know, you're all able to get some in return, because like you said, right, they cost you, you know, your livelihood. You know what I mean? Who's gonna pay you for all the opportunities missed in during that time, right? And it was because of this lie, you know. So, you know, it goes into a lot of you know, you can say that with a lot of other things, right? The COVID stuff, everything. It's like these lies that have just been put out there, and they've been used to destroy people.
Yeah.
And you know, it's good to see that a lot of that is coming to an end. And like you said, right, you know, people getting preemptive pardons, like people on the J6 committee, it makes you wonder, right? What are they covering, right? Even Fauci getting his pardon, it makes you wonder, you know. We have our thoughts and ideas, you know, our beliefs in what happened, and you know how we saw things play out. but there has to be some guilt there for you to feel enough to give a preemptive pardon. That's why I sent you that message yesterday. I just put I think I told you Biden just threw an alley oop for you guys to get pardoned when he
Yeah.
pardoned his whole family
Yep.
yesterday.
Yep.
So
And Danny, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that's what did it, bro. I
Yeah.
honestly think because I mean, the Trump administration was pretty hell bent on pardoning only J6 misdemeanors, and then the rest of them felonies they were going to be case by case. But like you said, when you said that the alley oop, I think that's what changed their mind immediately. They're like, all right, cool. If they're going to be
Yeah.
doing all these preemptive pardons, if they're going to be pardoning all these ex cop killers and everything else,
Hey,
ain't nobody they can't say anything if we
Yeah.
pardon every January 6th.
Yeah, I think one was his brother. I don't know. I saw like 5 Bidens on there.
brother, I got the list. I got
Here's
the
the thing, man.
list.
Even the worst of worst J6ers wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
James B. Biden, Sarah Jones Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John T. Owens, Francis W. Biden. A lot of Bidens.
A lot of Bidens got pardoned yesterday.
I wonder how many Trumps
And
are
don't
going to
forget
get
Hunter.
Biden in 4 years. Yeah.
No, it's crazy, man. It's people are brainwashed, right? We can't change the minds of people that don't want their minds changed. COVID was the start of showing how easy it was to manipulate the minds of the individual American and the world, for that matter. COVID was absolutely the beginning of that. So it was so easy that when January 6th happened, for people to turn a blind eye to what really was going on and be quick to judge people and quick to throw blame because they hated Trump so much. It was easy. It was the easiest thing to do. So you dumb down the masses. There's a reason why you dumb down the masses. That's the reason why we're horrible in education now. There's a reason to it all. You dumb down the masses, they'll do anything you tell them to do. They'll believe anything. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's online now, they'll believe it.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because they tell us exactly what they're doing to our faith. It's like Nancy Pelosi, the wrap-up smear. It lays it all out there. Everything that you guys are talking about, it's a wrap-up smear, straight up. They feed it to legacy media, they regurgitate it, and they keep repeating it as if it was facts. So, but like I said, all of this is a lesson. The red pill administration.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you had to go through what you had to go through this administration, but they fed, the world of fat red pill. So
Yeah, man. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm optimistic about these next 4 years for sure. I'm optimistic for tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Every day is doing something. So
one thing I can say to you guys, man, keep doing what you're doing, right? For the Latino community specifically. Look, I'm a No Sabo kid, whatever it is, what it is. But still pure blood Latino, and the one thing is, after the election, we were loud, but after the election, we got quiet. And bro, I can tell you, I've seen the battles between, no pun intended, black and white, and the Latino, the Latino community. It's like they don't want to be a part of it, but we have so much to say. We have so much history in America. We could literally, the Latino community can legitimately unite America if we wanted to. We are the middlemen. We really are. And we stay quiet too often. And when you look at it, like when you look at our leaders, look at how many of them are Latino. We don't have that many. We should have a plethora of them. And in every state, we should have them in every state. But for some reason, a lot of our people in our community, they're just like, yeah, we'll just go with it. It's cool. Like, no, we gotta stay loud. We gotta be loud. We gotta remind people this was our land before it was anybody else's. You know what I'm saying? This is where we belong. We're all Americans. But I'm telling you, as a Hispanic community, we can easily unite the nation even more by being on doing the stuff that you guys are doing. And I'm not saying you guys aren't. You guys are doing a great job by being the voices for us, man. Keep doing that because we need more. We need a lot more real Latino men doing these kind of things. Not people that just want it for clout. Not people that just want to grift off it. Like, generally care about this country. Generally understand who we are, where we come from, but still love this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so I applaud you guys for that. So thank you guys so much for keeping that going. Thank you guys for bringing me on tonight and letting me share my story. And like I said, anytime you guys want to talk or want to hear anything or whatever happens, I try to be as free as I can.
Yeah,
Um, like I said, we are in America, so we are pretty free, right?
Hell
yeah.
yeah. As long as I'm alive.
Just gotta cut some of those taxes. Just just bring that down.
I think
Let
we'll
me.
see. I think we're seeing. I think we're going to see some of that here soon.
Yeah,
Tariffs. They're my favorite
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man.
man. No, but yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And we'll definitely, we'll bring you on again for sure. We'll see how things play out, and hopefully you get back into you said filmmaking.
I'm still doing it, man.
Yeah, get into it.
I'm still
You're
working. I'm still working it. I'm working with somebody right now. Again, I'm in District 1 of Florida, in Florida. So I'm working alongside with a gentleman by the name of Gene Valentino, who's trying to take Matt Gates' old seat. So right now,
okay.
I didn't think I'd jump in the political world as much, but I'm in it. I'm there. We'll see what happens with that. And even if I don't, I still got a lot of cool stuff going on with the company I go through, His Glory. We do a
Nice.
lot of filming with them, and my buddy here who owns Hellcat Productions. We do filming, so people want me to film now. People are all for it. So
There you go.
here, man, that's what I do. So,
Charge them double.
I know, right?
You got a January 6th director?
That's probably how it'll play out too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, but yeah, thanks for coming on. And like you said, man, we're, and I kind of said this at the opening, we're not, our mission isn't to like go viral, do reactionary things like a bunch of people do. I don't know. That's easy. We're here to have, important conversations and hopefully encourage other people to have those conversations with their families.
Yeah.
And be more involved. We're here in California. The state, is going in. It seems like it's going in the right direction. But we got to keep on pushing, and we're looking to be more involved, and this year doing stuff like we're gonna be associate delegates now.
Yeah.
And go into that field, and just to be there. We were our friend Peter Hernandez, who was running for Congress out here in California. He's the one that told us, hey, you guys should be my associate delegates, because we need more men, more Latinos involved in this process, so that he explained it. He's like, even though as associate delegate you don't have a vote, you have a voice, so that when you go to this GOP convention here in California and they're not doing things that align with our values or whatnot, or they're trying to make some drastic changes, there's more voices there to say, hey, what are you guys doing? And we'll see what happens, right? But we're definitely doing what we can to be more vocal, more involved than we are now.
And that's what needs to be done, man. Like I hear a lot of people, you guys got to get out of California now. We need people like you to stay there, because we got to win back California, man. I mean, just like we won back the country, man. You guys can easily win back California. Finding the right people, talking to the right people, giving them the correct information, and not just letting them, base stuff off fear and lies from Gavin Newsom and all the other crap that they go through. The more people we can get in there to California, the better it is for California. California's a great state. California could be an amazing place. I grew up there. I was born and raised in California. I grew up in north of Sacramento, a little town called Marysville.
Okay.
That is. So just north of Sacramento, man. I grew up 18 years there. But when I left, I didn't like it, and I never wanted to go back. I served some time there at Camp Pendleton. Served some time there down at MCRD San Diego. So I loved California, man. It's just one of the most expensive places for me to live, and I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't handle it. And when I moved here to Pensacola, it was different. Completely different. Two different worlds, honestly. But that's an East Coast West Coast thing. It really is two different worlds. But it's good. I believe if you guys continue to do what you're doing and getting more people involved, and I know there's other groups out there doing the same stuff you guys do, and I mean, I wholeheartedly believe and have faith that you guys can flip California back to the way it's supposed to be. Get rid of all the ridiculous stuff that you have and take it back, man. I mean, at this point, what's important is understanding the local level votes, right? You guys, that's more important than the Super Bowl we just won. Right? And I know re-electing President Trump's all good and it's great, But if you're not voting in your local voting areas, you're doing yourself no justice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're allowing Gavin Newsom and the rest of those guys to continue to be who they are if you're not going into your local vote. So get them out there, man. Get
Yeah.
buses. Tell people. Let them know what's really going on. Be
Yeah.
those delegates because we need more. I would love to see California go red. I would love to see that.
Yeah. No, I think you will.
So maybe
you know my thoughts on
spots here
that.
and there, but eventually it's going to be big red.
It's already red. We just got to fix the voting out here.
Yeah.
And the reality of California is, yeah, Danny says it all the time. Yeah. We are the majority out here. It's just all the damn cheating. And I tend to agree with that.
Yep.
So
Gotta find it out, man.
yeah. Well, thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. And like I said, we'll make sure to have you on again soon.
Awesome, guys. Hey, appreciate you guys very much.
Cool guy. Well, thank
Thank you.
you. And we'll talk to you next time then.
All right, then. Peace out.
Peace. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we are gonna flip it. I think what I'd like to see is, I know that each state controls its own elections and all that, but I think, and I don't find this out of line, that the federal government should have some set requirements or standards for elections that every state must adhere to, like at a minimum, right? Like voter ID, clean up voter rolls. You know, I feel like if as a state can control its own elections, but you got to have this in place. So, you know, I think if Trump, their administration did something like that, which I think they are, you know, I don't see that as something out of line or any kind of overreach. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
let's just take it back to common sense.
Mhm.
Is what you just said. You have to be a citizen, number one. In order to prove that you're a citizen, you need identification. Okay. And then the voter rolls, common sense, they have to be accurate and current, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds easy to me, man. I tell me if I'm crazy, tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds pretty easy to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
In a reliable source of voting.
mhm. It's not that complicated. I think you know, if other states can do it, I don't see why other states couldn't, you know. And then it goes to the, you know, after the election, right? All the states that have no ID are the states Kamala won. So it kind of, you know, proves that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm simplifying it too much, but you know when someone's trying to get you all confused and out of sorts, they come at you and they're throwing all kinds of different things at you, and sometimes you just got to step away from that cloud of dust that that they're building
Hmm.
and just go back to common sense. Is like, I told you guys in the beginning, you can have a master's, you can have a PhD, but if you tell me that there's, 1 + 1 is 3 or whatever,
Hmm.
I'm gonna call you out. It's like, no, it's not. It's 2, and I don't care what your credentials are. You're not gonna pull the wool over my eyes. Let's just go back to basics and hold them accountable. That's it. And I'm sorry if that sounds too simplified, but in my mind, that's how easy it is. But if we don't stand up and advocate for ourselves, and um, this is going to continue to happen. If we continue, to allow a Gavin Newsom to lie to our faces, this is what we're going to get.
Mm.
I recently saw a video of Adam Carolla talking to Gavin Newsom. I don't know if you guys have seen that. where Gavin Newsom's giving the whole spiel of, well, minorities, they can't open bank accounts and they can't get their IDs to order, or to vote and all this, and just simple questions, take it back to the basics, like you said. Then he goes, "Why? Are you saying they're dumb?" No, I'm not saying dumb. I'm just saying that there's political things that are suppressing them from keeping in. So do whites have this problem? No, they don't. So we should kick them out. We should kick them. We should get these guys out of the country. No, he's just beating around the bush, man. Where it's like, yes, they can get an ID, bro. No, it's not racist to ask for ID for voting. And I you kind of feel for them, man. Me being the liberal of the group, to tippy toe. I'm kidding. To tippy toe around all freaking day, around these questions of trying to sound politically correct. Man, no wonder that guy's got gray hair. They say great hair, but I think they're saying gray hair, gay hair. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I think a child would be able to sniff that bullshit out.
I'm telling you, man. Easy, just simple questions.
You said gay hair.
Yeah. Everybody here, oh, but he's got great hair, gay hair.
What's up, Gio?
What's going on, fellas?
How's it
I was
going?
just listening to you guys to talk to JD from the great state of Florida, right along the coastline of the Gulf of America.
They got the Gulf of America, baby.
Yesterday they called it the Gulf of Mexico, but I signed it up. It's now the Gulf of America. It's ours now.
And Alaska. But they changed the mountain. And so I saw somebody put, but it's been Mount Denali for 1,000 years. People have called it, and
And so
back
what?
to the basics. How do you know it's been how do you know it's been called Denali for 1,000 years? Get out of here, man. It's crazy stuff.
But dude, who cares? Like, who owns it now?
Yeah. Finders keepers.
I'm sorry, but it drives me crazy when the fires broke out in LA. People were tripping like, oh man, like look at all the Mexican firefighters coming and saving the day. Like, first of all, they weren't even here yet. Those were videos from like another fire. Secondly, all the comments like, yeah, es nuestra tierra, blah blah blah. Like, dude, okay, here we go again. It was part of Mexico for like less than 10 years. Before that, it was Spain. And before that, it was just California. Like this was all this land was like separate. It was not part of Mexico. Like, chill out.
And then I'm pretty sure.
Let's be grateful that Mexico even has a country, because
you said
let's not forget who marched into Mexico City. But hey, I mean, it could have been ours.
Well, it's their fault. Hear me out, Gio. It's their fault. They invited the Americans before it was California and all that, and they got all the way to the West Coast. They invited the Americans or whatever was on the 13 colonies to go into Texas and all that, or California, to be the buffer zone between the Native Americans and them, right? Guess what? Those people were able to make, cities and all that and towns, and guess what? Mexico went back and were like, hey, we got all our land back. Hey, yo, you're sneaky. You're being a little sneaky.
Not neither Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, back when it was part of Mexico, it was just like a little
Alabama.
ranch, the city of angels.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, I'm not trying to hate on Mexico. Mexico's beautiful. The people of Mexico are great, but
Danny,
I prefer being here. I prefer
Gio.
being here. I'm grateful for my grandparents coming here, my parents coming here. I'm thankful to them always, because this is the greatest country on earth.
Gio, you made a comment earlier about these firemen. You said you brought from it. Well, those are the Mexicans coming from Mexico, right? Helping out with the fires. The Mexicans here, brother, were dressing up, playing pretend as firefighters and looting these homes. That's what I saw. So that's, those are the guys here. Those are the guys here. So.
And let's not forget about the Latino firefighters that are from here. Just because they're prisoners and they're going out there cleaning up those lines, like they're doing the same work that the Mexicans from Mexico do. Like, they suit up, they send the prison vans out there, and not just the prisoners, but the actual firefighters that work for the California Department of Forestry,
Hmm.
a lot of them are Latinos. I mean, you know, uh, great. I'm really happy that Mexico sends foreign aid. You know, so do we. But you know, it is a fire that is has devastated Los Angeles, the state of California, and you know, even Mexico has admitted like we just don't want that smoke in Tijuana because it's a major city in our country and it's bad for us too. Um, but no, I like I was saying that you know, you guys had JD on, and he had an awesome story um, about you know, the disgusting acts that the Biden administration did against January Sixers. And isn't it super interesting that um, they complain and complain about Trump um, uh, pardoning the January Sixers, but the freaking before Trump comes in, they pardon everybody else that has been going against the January Sixers, like freaking Cheney's daughter, Liz Cheney. Like, I mean, talk about doing America dirty.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does it surprise you though?
No, it doesn't surprise me. Who would it surprise? I mean, Democrats are probably like, "Oh, what's going on in America?" Like, dude,
Nah,
we've been
Democrats
yeah,
are like Democrats are probably the crazy ones. Are probably like, no, well, you can't go after your political opponent, so you got to be, preemptive. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They don't. The crazy ones don't realize that they literally did that, and these past 4 years, and that's why they're pardoning their people because they did it. So it's like, oh shit! Now the shoe's on the other foot. We have to be prepared. So that's their admission
Yeah.
of guilt, even on just that level of this is all the stuff that we've cried about is us projecting what we've done.
I like how Trump came in, and I mean, he's been the president for not even 48 hours, and he's come in and he signed all the executive orders. He's gotten straight to work. Um, what I'm hoping for in this golden era, because that's what he called it, right? He called it the golden era.
Age.
America's entering a golden age. So what I'm hoping is not so much 4 years of, here you go, Democrats, take this, take this, take this. More so, how do we get America to a point where when Donald Trump does hand over the torch, we continue the golden age of America getting even greater.
Hmm.
We have to have that focus, like JD said. Like, we can't just let it go now. Like, we can't just be like, oh, we won the Super Bowl and let it go. We have to keep carrying that torch even further for America.
But what does that look like?
I think a lot of sacrifice. I think these next 4 years are going to be, they are going to be good for the future, for the long run. But like you said, we're talking about passing the torch. We don't want that to end after these 4 years. After
But
these
what
4 years, we just get into that same loop. If he's not able to establish something.
Well, to Danny's question is like, what do we see that, how do we do that? Part of the executive orders yesterday, with getting the Department of Government Efficiency set up and going in and pulling in all the government employees come to work, because a lot of people are going to quit. A lot of people
Hmm.
are just going to be like, I don't want to go to work. Let me find remote work or something local. Because I bet you a lot of government employees were like, even though my job is in DC, I'm going to move away because I can work
Yep.
remote.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are going to end up quitting, which is going to cut government. But start to transition those people. Like, okay, we're not going to have all these jobs. We're cutting a lot of things, but during these transitions, we need people to do certain jobs because, yeah, we need to shore up the border. We need to close up the border, and we need to start looking at the folks that are here. Uh, get the criminals out. That's just priority number one. Going and like these guys in Bakersfield, they did all these raids in Bakersfield, right? Well, really, what the ICE wanted to do was to catch two known sex offenders, but the local officials got in the way. I mean, that was just that was reported.
You're not
by-
taking our local predators. Those are ours.
Hands off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got to get rid of those sorts of criminals, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't want American sex offenders on the streets, let alone illegal sex offenders out on the streets. We need to
And-
clean that up.
And
But
then,
the people that no, go ahead, Danny.
no, I was just gonna say because you brought up the Bakersfield raids that just happened a couple weeks ago. So I kind of got some information on that, right? And there were 78 total arrests. You know, there were people from Peru, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Ecuador, Mexico, and China. One subject was arrested, was a convicted sex offender convicted of raping an 8-year-old girl.
Oh,
Another subject had an active warrant from the Visalia Sheriff Department for a sex offense against a child. One subject had a warrant for being a felon in possession of a weapon. Let's see, 3 separate marijuana seizures, 4 separate methamphetamine seizures. Let's see, multiple DUI convictions among those arrested, including some that included hit and run and injury. Other criminal histories of those arrested include felony drug possession, vandalism, burglary, inflicting injury on spouse, and child abuse convictions. So those,
So these weren't.
I mean, they
Asylum
made it,
seekers?
these are
they make it seem like they were like finding like, okay, let's go find little 8-year-old kids to find out where they're going to school. But when they're in school, we're gonna go get their parents that have been doing everything right. We're gonna get their parents. We're gonna split these families up. We're gonna split them up. They making it? They're making it sound like that, but that's not the case. So you're saying that they're actually going to get criminals with criminal records.
yeah, and I mean, where I would say this, where did they probably arrest some people that had no criminal records but are here illegally? Probably too, right? But as I said at the beginning, that is part of the risk. When you come here illegally, you know that at any moment, or you should know that you can get deported. That's just, you know,
It
a
is
rule
part
of
the
law.
risk.
But you know, they probably don't expect it here in California, obviously, because of our wonderful sanctuary statuses here. But you know, that's still once you have you know, an incoming president that's gonna back you on federal law. I mean, I don't think this sanctuary thing is
I
even
watched-
valid.
I watched the Tucker episode with our new borders czar. I can't remember his name.
Tom
but-
Homan.
Is it Tom Holman?
Yeah.
So Tom Holman was saying that, you know, he was specifically talking about this situation where sanctuary cities, ICE goes in and asks for the criminals when they get arrested, right? But the local officials, they get in the way. They release the criminal. They go out, and he specifically said, you know, we're trying to go after that individual, and we know where they're going to go. They're going to go where other illegal immigrants are, and we don't really care for those other illegal immigrants. They're not our priority. But if we do a raid to catch that one guy and we find 20 other illegals around, they're all going to get deported. You know, so it's not in anybody's interest that we're just going and going after low priority illegals, but we have to follow the law that's before us. So if we catch them during this raid for this one individual, they're all going back.
Mhm.
So, you know, at what point do people start saying, hey, California, hey, Bakersfield, hey, Fresno, wherever they're doing these raids, why don't you start turning these people over? You know, if there's a sex offender, turn
Yeah.
them over. Like, we don't need them here. Like,
Well, didn't the House, right? Didn't they just 145 Democrats in the House just voted against deporting illegals that commit was it sexual assault or assault on
AOC?
a child?
Basically,
like that?
pedophiles.
Yeah, it's like you said, man. Like if you know where those people are exactly, yeah, tell ICE this guy's did this and that. Go get him. And then all the, you know, innocent people, so to speak, the people that are just here trying to, work and all that. Again, even though they're here illegally, they don't get in the crosshairs of going and getting this pedophile, you
Yeah.
know? But by them not helping, like you're saying, man, it just puts everybody in the way, and everyone's at risk to. They're protecting these criminals for what?
It's just the process of getting in the way. I mean, the Democrats know what they're doing. Republican,
But when you say Democrats, you got to remember it's rhinos,
rhinos,
Republicans that aren't doing their job. They're not, you know,
not
not
non-America first.
representing their constituents. And most important of all, the reason I asked you guys that question is because we could talk about, these changes that we're talking about right now. But with the new administration, those changes go away because we're depending on people to do their job, right? Like administrations as they come in and people that we vote in. But the point that I'm trying to make is that, let me ask you a question: is a sanctuary city constitutional?
No,
All right. So, um, are rights being taken away as far as freedom of speech and right to bear arms?
Yeah, here in
absolutely.
California,
Okay.
absolutely.
So that's why when we started the episode, you asked me what I was hoping for in this administration. Is if we just go back to basics and he upholds the Constitution the way that it's supposed to be and it's not being stripped away inch by inch, we win.
Hmm.
Because it doesn't matter. And if he puts safeguards so it doesn't happen again, we already saw what happens when you strip away our rights. Because why people immigrate to the United States and they don't even know why they immigrate to the United States. They immigrate to the United States because the United States is the only country that has a constitution like the United States has. Because it protects our God. It says we had God given rights. That's why.
Hmm.
And when you
Right.
start stripping those away, this is what happens. This is what happens. What we've been experiencing over time is what happens. So that's why I posed the question, what does it look like? What is, so think about root cause in the solution.
Abolishing
Correct.
the ATF.
Yeah, yeah, it's right because what a lot of these politicians have been trying to do for the last I don't know how many years is they've been trying to make us more like Europe. And you know, in the 1700s, we went to war with Europe because we didn't want that here. We wanted to be free,
Hmm.
but we forget that. We forget what tyranny looks like, and we start to allow it to come into our government. We start to allow, the president to do certain things. We start to allow our politicians like Gavin Newsom to do certain things, and we just forget what freedom was. What is freedom? It's not all these regulations getting in the way. It's like Daniel was saying earlier, like, or I think it was Danny was saying earlier when Gavin Newsom's talking about removing all the red tape. Well, why was all the red tape there anyways? Why did we have to wait for fires to happen? Just
Mhm.
let's remove all the tyranny. This is not Europe. This is the United States.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because you know how Trump did the executive order on border security and getting rid of the illegal immigrants, and in a sense, basically saying, it doesn't matter if you're a sanctuary state, like we're gonna do what we're gonna do. Um, I think I heard or saw somewhere that Gavin Newsom's response is that's unconstitutional, and it's like, brother, the amount of unconstitutional laws we have in California, like the fact that that's in his vocabulary is mind blowing. You know what I mean?
And that's why we need to talk about this because that's how they've been able to manipulate people, is that they just hear someone like that speak with confidence in holding the office of governor. They go, okay, yeah, that's right,
Mhm.
but it isn't,
They see the gay
because
hair and they're like,
we're talking, they're talking about, Steph Curry and LeBron James and who's the GOAT and blah 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 blah, and they know all
Michael
of that
Jordan.
information, but they don't know these details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and you know, I hope that every illegal immigrant that is here that has committed crimes, and isn't here to like we said, right? How back in the day people would come for a better life. If they're just here to fucking be, lack of a better word, a piece of shit. Yeah, I hope all those people get deported.
But
Yeah.
Daniel, it's been a couple times when it does get to you. You got family members that can't get their papers in order, or whatever they did something in the past, and then sometimes you go ahead and you ask, and you say, "Hey, what did my tío or tía do or my cousin do?" And they're like, "Oh no, he got caught with meth inside the car driving with a pistol loaded," and you're like, and he didn't, and he wasn't, he didn't have papers, and he was playing that game. Well, guess what? Now this is part two of that game, where if ICE comes around, bro, you better be inside. They're gonna, they're gonna take you. Don't be mad. Don't be defending little Smokey when he gets taken. If those are his priors. It's been a bunch of times where it's like, oh, my poor Joselito, and you're like, oh man, but why can't he get his papers? You're his wife. You were born here. Oh, I don't even. God.
Me pegó, mijo.
Yeah, he hit me. He threw me down the stairs and all that. But I was talking, so it's like, oh man,
Ya
it's
cambió,
crazy.
mijo, ya
Yeah,
cambió.
yeah. But right now, man, I really hope they don't catch him. No, yeah,
Antes me pegaba, pero ya cambió.
you're making the block hot, dude. You're gonna
And
get
I
caught.
need his welfare check too.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Oh,
Por eso no puede trabajar.
yeah, por eso no puede entrar. He didn't work today. Oh.
Oh God.
No,
No,
it is messed up, but and there are going to be a lot of so and so innocent illegal immigrants that are going to get deported.
Well,
And
Jill,
and but
maybe you could tell me. I don't know if this is true or not, but is it true about the whole kind of anchor baby thing? Is that no more? There's no is
it was
birthright
signed.
citizen.
It was signed, ending birthright in order attempts to reinterpret the 14th Amendment to end birthright citizenship for children born to parents without legal status in the
Gosh,
U.S. expected to face legal challenges. I,
but yeah, tell me.
I'm not sure if I really agree with this one. This one kind of seems like one of those um, ultra mega
Project 2025.
nah, that's trash. I don't even I don't care about Project 20.
Never heard of it. I don't know.
I just I think that Trump might have some people in his ear. This is like one of those what's that Breitbart guy's name? The ¿Cómo se llama?
Bannon?
Bannon?
Bannon. This is like one of those Bannon rules. Um he has to please his what they call his old base. But hey, we've been here since day one too. And I'm not an anchor baby, but I got a brother that was an anchor baby.
I
Um,
might be. I might be. I don't know, Gio. I gotta look at my family tree.
I mean, technically, maybe I am an anchor baby.
My mom's got a green card. I don't know where that is. That how big of an anchor is that? My grandma's from Texas.
Yeah, I,
Yes.
this is one I'm not too sure about because I think if you're born in the United States, then you should be a citizen. This to me, this is not like a Cuban stepping foot on American soil. This is actually being born here. But I mean, they say that other countries don't do this. That if you're born like an American is born abroad,
I didn't
they're
know that.
not a citizen of that country. They're still an American citizen. And if that's true, then I guess that is something you have to look into.
Mhm.
But
I
I'm
would
not.
I would imagine it's for
Indians.
Maybe because I would imagine that there's people that travel, right? Maybe they plan to travel here during the pregnancy and
Oh wow.
try to time it. You know what I mean?
All that
Maybe cases like that.
Brother, I've been guilty. We've been
on,
this family, the
man.
Ray, this family has been
I've heard stories
accessories.
of the family, coming over and having the kid here.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
done
I've heard those
for good.
stories. I've heard
Yeah.
those stories. Hey, I mean, if they got here, hey,
Hey, that's your
power
fault.
to them. Hey,
You came under the
good
right
work.
administration.
It didn't happen in the trompas.
Yeah, timing.
Yeah. But I
No.
guess that's one of those things you have to kind of see how that plays out and what it actually means. Because I did hear about that, but I also heard that several states already are challenging that. So
Yeah, but the big thing is let's close the border. Let's stop this porous thing. Let's find these criminals because we can't have criminals out there. You know, the Christian said earlier, like, you know, how do we know what people are trying to do? Like, you know, are they really a malicious actor or not? Well, if they have a criminal record, then they just have a criminal record. You know,
Well,
we
let's
don't know who
take
the
it back to
terrorists are.
basics, like
know
a
the-
simple question. And I'll start with you, Daniel. So if someone intentionally crosses the border illegally just to have a kid here to gain citizenship, is that a go? Is that a green light? Is that okay?
Arrest the mom as soon as she's.
I would say no, legally no.
Okay, Christian.
Can you repeat the question?
Someone comes over, crosses the border illegally, intentionally to have a baby here so that they can gain citizenship. Is that okay?
I'm hoping my politicians have everything in order, and I guess that's Trump. What Trump's doing, right? But yeah, no, that's illegal as hell.
Okay.
Shit.
Gio?
So the mom's trying to become a citizen, or we're talking
The
about
kid.
the baby.
No, the mom and dad cross the border illegally
Damn, there's a dad now.
to have the child here so that, look, let's be real, it's to gain citizenship here.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So to
It's like
me,
it's
to
like
me,
a
the
loophole.
parents the parents can't become citizens,
Can they code?
but the child, yeah.
Okay.
Can the
So how does
baby
it
code?
how does it work? I mean, once the kid is born here, right? He's American citizen, so they're not going to deport the mom and keep the kid here, an infant, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, you give him his birth certificate,
So it's
send
a
him on. You
form
caught me
of them
slipping.
gaining citizenship here.
My
That's why
response
it's the
though,
anchor baby.
my response is, did this happen before or after our border was sealed?
It doesn't matter.
Because to
It's
me,
illegal.
if they came in
Because
under
it
No,
wouldn't
no.
matter. It wouldn't
See,
matter.
It doesn't matter because look, when the border was
Legally, it
sealed,
doesn't
people
matter.
still came over. They find a way.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not-
according to our laws,
It's
it
not
doesn't
going to
matter.
be like a Ziploc bag where you just and
you're
nothing gets through.
They come in cargo ships too.
The law is the law of the land is the law of the land, and
Mhm.
they're here illegally. But you know,
That's where we
I always
can't-
go back to I'm
When we
human.
talk about these things,
Yeah.
if we're going to allow something gray, then people call our bullshit on it.
They do.
So it's like
I think they do. I
we
think they
can't have
do.
it both
But-
ways.
But you know what, dude? It shows that, like, you know, even let's say I said no, right? There's still like that. There, you know, there's that sympathy, so to speak. You know, you're empathetic to people that, you know, it's
Oh.
not just get them the hell out of here. It's like you kind of have that kind of
But
thought,
I
right?
got a response for
Unless they're Chinese.
But who's gonna have that conversation, Danny? Like, who's gonna have the conversation of, you know, you got one side that's like, well, what about, and then the other side's that's like, no. We get them all out, and but the other side has a good point.
The question is it illegal or not?
No,
That's
it's not legal. It's not
Right.
legal.
Yeah.
But is
Okay.
it right?
Huh?
But is it right? It's not legal. We know it's not legal. Like, I know. I'm not gonna incriminate.
Jill, I want to get the baby. I want to get the baby. The baby
we
paper.
gotta
Let's just
separate
say- let's just
personal
say-
personal experience and emotions when it comes to this.
But I know this guy that
I know this guy that came here illegally and had kids. No, but you
On
know,
purpose.
there are really good arguments on the other side. Like, who's gonna pick our crops? I mean, I think that yeah, we can fill
I
some
think that's
jobs.
racist, but
I think that's racist as hell, and it gives me mad as shit when they tell me that.
Man,
I'm
but
like,
it's
bro,
true.
you can't give me nothing fucking else, dude. This anchor baby.
I know, but it's true. Dude,
people,
my dad
I'm not
has these farms
believe
all the
that
time.
the economy's gonna fall apart if that happens.
It could. I mean, dude,
Can I tell
I'm
you a
in
story
Central
about
Valley.
that? Can I tell you a
Collide.
story about that?
I'm-
Okay.
story time.
So I worked for an insurance company, auto insurance company, right? Out here in Central Valley. And in seasons, a bunch of people, Latinos, would come over and purchase policies for 6 months and pay them, boom, cash. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. I saw you last, whatever month it was, let's just call it April, and you've purchased the policy. And then I saw you again. And then I saw you the following season. What is it that you do for a living? Oh, I live in Mexico, but I come over for the seasons for cherry or whatever the case may be. Okay. And these people are very smart and they come for a season legally. We're working permits,
Legally, yeah.
get their checks, they pay for their insurance for their cars when they're here. Then they go back and live like kings in Mexico. I'm embellishing when I say kings, but they make their dollars
They
and
live
they
well. They live well,
and live well over there.
Fanta costs 25 cents over there.
bro. If you can get Fanta for 25 cents, no,
So
but
this myth that we need them to, like, what's that? Ozzy Osbourne's daughter said in The View,
Who's gonna clean your toilet?
and do that type of stuff.
clean your own damn toilet.
Yeah.
Don't buy into that, man. You know,
Gio,
I-
I'm with you. I want to give the baby papers, dude. I see myself. I look down at that baby and I go, "Damn, your mama barely made it, but get respect. Give it to him." But then there's that side, dude. It's illegal.
Okay, well,
as
I got a
hell. It's
response to
illegal as
that.
hell. No,
I got a
I
response
wouldn't
to
be.
that.
I would be.
Go, go.
I'd be remiss if I did.
When you enforce laws, what does it do?
It stops that.
It deters people from coming here illegally.
So I think,
And that's the thing. It's like,
But-
we need to enforce our laws. We need to
enforce
keep
our
legal
laws.
people
That's
out.
on us. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go someone San Jose, California is the base, and it's like
And it
I
is.
landed here, I had a baby here, you can't touch me now. The rules don't apply to me.
No,
What are we incentivizing?
no. I think like Holman said, it's like we can't be afraid to send them back with their baby.
Send them all back.
If they're a
And
criminal,
when we send it back, we pinch the baby a little bit. Just
Hey,
a little bit. We just pinch it.
if
So we
the
know
baby's
he
puppy-
remembers.
beat up mommy, hey,
He's not a
somebody's getting
citizen.
deported. Now you can all go together, or your puppy is going by himself.
Mhm.
But we don't want to split you up. But
Mm.
it's time to go for daddy. Or
Daddy
if,
and mommy got to do the right thing.
or if mommy got caught sneaking fentanyl across the border, or across somewhere, hey, mommy's got to go back.
In-
She ain't gonna be. She can't be here.
In this scenario where they're going through P. Diddy's gate part of the wall, or were they going to just any part? Were they going through the security
you
guys?
picked the route. You picked the route. Through cargo ship, through
Oh man, well
P.
I gotta save them if they're going through P. Diddy's yard. I gotta be, yo, bro, do you guys know where you guys are at right
Don't do it.
now?
Go back home.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk.
No, but it's one of those things, right? That he signed the birthright thing, but if the law does get enforced, then it eliminates that, so to speak, that it's not even going to be an issue. Now what people I think might be worried about is how far back are you going to eliminate that
30
that
years?
birthright? You know what I mean?
No, that I got the answer to that. It doesn't go into effect until 30 days after the signing, and anything before that is not. It's not like retro,
That's fair.
so it's not gonna be like, oh, hey, Geo, your parents were illegal when you were
Eh,
born.
but I
Time
think,
to go. And I'm be like, dude, I've been here I was born
but
here. I've only
yeah,
been here. I've only been to
What
Mexico
about
vacation
DACA?
maybe once a year, dude.
Hey, it's like the referee, the boxing referee that used to go, "I'm fair but firm." So
Yeah.
you
Uh,
know, that's
Unfortunately,
reasonable.
Pinching the
I
baby?
I agree. I agree, but I'm still on this specific executive order. I still think it's one of those weird ones. Like, uh, is this really stopping anything? Are we really afraid to send back somebody's dad because they were a criminal and splitting up a family? Like, let's not be afraid to split up a family. If the baby is a citizen and they want to come back when they're older, then they can come back as a citizen. But what are we really doing with this executive order? If
Well,
I think if it's
you know
reversed,
what the
I'm
other
not going to sign.
argument to that is? Okay, so why don't they let um people take certain positions in office like presidency that weren't born here?
Because they weren't born here. You have to be naturalized. You could be
Because
you can be a
it's a
governor.
loyalty thing. It's like, who are you loyal to? So if you're born here and you've lived your entire life here, you've got a family, you've got roots, you've got a career, you're gonna be loyal to this soil.
Ugh.
That's the other thing
It's true,
is that
Danny, because during those raids, what did you see? Not even the raids, the protests, the after effect of hearing the ISIS there. The protests, they were waving Mexican flags. You'd imagine that's the
that's
wrong
no
man. You would wave the I want to stay here. Throw the
yeah.
American flag, and they got the Mexican. Oh, easier for us, brother.
Yeah, that's one to me too. Why wouldn't you wave an American flag and be like, "Hey, we're American too. I've been here
Mhm.
so many years. I've adopted to this country." Nah, they're out there with
you
Mexican
know,
flags, and I get it. Look, I mean, my parents are from Mexico. I have a certain love for Mexico, but I don't want to ever like have to live in Mexico. Um, I got no reason to. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to think like, "Oh, I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna go play soccer. I'm gonna play soccer, and I'm gonna play in the World Cup for Mexico." And then I grew up, and I was like, "Dude, why would I want to go play in the World Cup for Mexico? Like, the United States gave me every opportunity."
Mhm.
Um,
that's funny. That question right there probably goes through every Mexican kid's mind growing up. Who would I like if we're gonna go pro? Who would I sign for? USA or Mexico? USA or Mexico?
yeah,
That's
and I see it. There's people that do it. Like, there's this girl that plays for U.S. For Mexico that grew up here in the United States, and I'm just like, she's only playing over there because she wouldn't make the American team. She wouldn't qualify. I'm sorry, but the
Merit.
United States has the best team in the world. Um, men's is different. When the men go play over in Mexico, I don't understand it. It's like, dude, why wouldn't you want to? Maybe it's a money thing.
they didn't even like you over there, dude.
Yeah, they don't even like you. Like, they treat us like garbage.
Mhm.
They really do. They call us nosavos. Like, we didn't come up with that term. I didn't come up with pocho. You know,
No.
But anyways, Danny, you were talking. You were pinching these babies. What else?
let's pull these babies out.
Hey, I'm not bringing the babies into nothing.
It's their
It's all
fault.
the
They
parents'
walking into my
fault.
pinch.
It's all the parents' fault. You know, it's the
Yeah.
decisions that they make. So it is what it is.
But
Yeah.
on immigration, there were a lot of other good things that I liked. It's the remain going back to remain in Mexico. I'm a big fan of remain in Mexico. Look, if you want asylum, apply for asylum in Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico is not like Mexico when our parents were there. Mexico is nice now, and I get it. They got the cartels and everything, but they're working on those sorts of things.
You
But
mean those terrorist organizations?
I'm
Oh,
not going to say that. I'm not saying
Trump said it.
disavow. Disavow.
Allegedly.
Don't come for me.
Hey, I don't know. Trump said it. Must be true.
Maybe.
No, but seriously, was that one of the executive orders?
Yeah,
It was.
I believe it was one.
They have ended catch and release.
No,
and they're tightening
the
it up.
cartel one.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, that was.
he did.
They're
Okay.
now a terrorist
There ain't
organization.
nothing wrong with that. That's the news. Shit.
Ain't,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
reporting.
fact.
ain't no wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. I'm scared. I'm scared of those organizations. I'm not.
Hey, you're probably
commenting.
closer. You're
But
telling
look,
me
here's
Menche
the
watches
other thing
Latino
too,
Free
though.
Minds?
I don't know if I don't know if there's in the future I'm gonna have to go work in Mexico again. So I'm not saying nothing.
Shine
But
bomb, you bitch.
here's the other thing that I've always had a conversation about is that we're always worried about taking care of other people's from other countries.
Yeah.
When are we going to start, or when are people going to start holding their countries accountable for fixing their things so that they don't have to come over? You know, kind of like how El Salvador did.
Mhm.
I like what they did.
There's record numbers of people going back to El Salvador, back to their country. Why?
Bitcoin.
Because they fixed the problem that they had over there.
Safer than Canada.
You know that's funny that you bring that up, Danny, because there was an executive order that Trump signed in regards to financial aid for um, those sorts of like the Ukraine war. Did anybody have that executive order pulled up?
No, the one I'm looking at right now was released an hour ago, and it's Trump administration has ordered every government agency to shut down their DEI offices by tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Whoo.
Common sense, baby.
Sorry, guys. That was some ASMR. I don't know. I
That-
clicked the
that-
video.
that's a waste of paper and time, because that shouldn't even be. It should have never been a thing.
No, it should be based on merit. I'm a big fan of merit. Like, I don't. I'm a parent, and with my kids, like with my older son, I instill in him like, look, you're in competition with everybody else, and you know, I'm a big fan of STEM, so I instill in him science, technology, engineering, mechanics. So with him, I'm like, you know, your biggest competition is China. You're gonna need to be better than them.
Elon says it's Indians.
If he's better than the international kids, then he's gonna be the top applicant for whatever job he gets. And that's just me. It's like you're working based on merit. You know.
Shit.
Withdraw from international agreements, like the Paris.
Oh yeah, the WHO they withdrew from that Paris Climate Accord, and he put what was it, like a 90-day freeze on foreign help?
Yes, which is big. It's like let's stop paying these other countries and focus on ourselves. We got some crazy stuff going on, and he did it specifically for the Los Angeles fires, and was it the South Carolina hurricane?
Yeah,
Yeah, we got to take care of our people.
he's gonna be out here Friday.
Does Flint have water?
Flint.
Did they fix their water yet? I know Ukraine's got water and bombs.
That's. Do you want the answer to that? Because they have water, but do they have clean water? Is that what you're asking? I don't think we have clean water in Fresno.
Shit, we got fluoridated up.
We do have fluoride water in Fresno. Actually, I don't want to point out where anybody lives, but somebody that's the first one on this list here lives in an area that has fluoride in his water.
Yeah, bro, I got a filter.
I got a well.
I know when I lived on that side, when I lived in Fresno, We our dentist told us that there was fluoride in the Fresno water,
And I
specifically
him in the face.
on that side of the city.
Damn.
Yeah,
Oh, there's fluoride in all water.
there is, but there's high levels of fluoride in their water because they wanted to prescribe fluoride for my son, and I was like, fluoride? What the hell is that for?
Oh, you guys are
Like, where do
crazy.
you
Fluoride's
live?
been working.
But no, I mean,
It'll clean
know.
your insides real good.
yeah, especially your bones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I said last time,
My
right?
brain.
Messes up your bone density, and then they advertise milk to you. So it's all connected.
Pasteurized milk.
Pasteurized milk, yeah. And then it fucks up your gut. You know what I mean? And then you're
You guys
having,
are just
Therefore, it messes up your immune system.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then they send you to pharma to get this
Mhm.
medicine, which gives you this side effect. That
yeah, this country is about to wake up, man, with RFK Jr. coming in.
so there's a lot.
So when
there's a
do
lot
hot Cheetos change color? Is that when do hot Cheetos change color?
They're not going to change color. They're
Hey,
just
brother,
going to
they're
change
red
what
as
makes them
hell.
red.
Those
They're-
things are red as hell.
No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to start putting the Mexican bug on them. The Mexican bug that they
I
use
thought
for
red dye
colors.
was that Mexican bug, that little nasty,
I don't
dirty
think so.
Mexican
I think
bug would never
I
be
think
in
it's
America.
expensive for that bug.
Mm.
They do it to save money. Whatever red dye 43, they'll find a way to make them red.
They can't just use
Real
Just-
chile?
yeah, real chile, just powdered it and
Blood of immigrant babies that we pinch. Hey, bro,
Weirdo.
they are or they're not. We're giving them papers or we're not, or it's just another little red
Yeah.
bug that we can skedaddle.
Christian, nobody disavowed when you said that. They all just laughed.
so did you, dude.
No, man, it's hey, dude, and we're just on day one. It's gonna be
Yeah.
It
be
is day
cool reporting and
Big thing
Yeah.
that Danny said, like what happens going forward, because
mhm.
Trump had a good first term. Day one of the next administration, it was all taken out. So, how do we hold people accountable? It's like
Mhm.
Danny said.
Mhm.
Protect the Constitution. In
Booby
that's
traps.
it.
Yeah, and that's why, like, even in 2020, the reason I wanted Trump to have a second term is because he's not going to run again. So there's no need to, first term, he kind of did have to play around with the media and dance with that because he's trying to get reelected, and you have the entire media apparatus against him. So I wanted a second term Trump because it's like, at that point, who gives a fuck what the media says? You do what you're gonna do. You're gonna be out anyways.
But he was
have to
under
get it.
attack from day one.
Yeah.
And he didn't have firepower, he
I
said
haven't
he
been
messed up with his cabinet and all that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. I think he
Well,
learned.
He
you
had
have to go
gay
through a
ass Mike
process.
Pence.
You have to weed out the rhinos, the fakers.
yeah,
Mhm.
Pence.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Day
second
one.
time around, look at the difference. You think if he was into politics and he knew how everything worked and he was surrounded by people that know how it works, I guarantee you he's a businessman. He would have entered his first term the same way that he did this second term. Ground running, literally ground running. But
I-
he was new.
Mhm.
That's
Well-
true, but we do have to be happy that it happened the way that it did, because he saw everybody's true colors, even the people around him. Look
Mhm.
at everybody that was around him when the media went after them, when the state went after them. They all turned their backs on him, and he saw everybody for what they were, just a bunch of snakes that were hanging around. So now this time, he's like, forget it. I'm not going to bring in all these politicians. I don't care what people think. I'm going to bring in RFK, even though people think he's crazy. The guy knows what he's talking about. When I talk to doctors, they like him. He's bringing in people like Elon Musk. Hey, yeah, everybody hates him the last 3 years, but the guy is a super genius.
The last
guy is
24
actually
hours.
getting us into space. The guy's talking about getting to Mars. We're bringing in a Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard. Why? Because the freaking state went after her because she called out the Democrats. You know, she's not afraid to call out her own party. These are the people that you want around, real earth shakers, people that are really going to shatter the government, people that are really going to make us think about what we want for the future. Take like I said, like, we don't want to be Europe. This is the United States. Like, we need the minds that are going to make us better. But, you know, we do need to lay the groundwork to, like Danny said, we need to lay it out and make sure that the Constitution is taken care of. Because as soon as Trump gets out, they're gonna want to do something. They're gonna want to expand the Supreme Court. They're gonna want to change the laws. They're gonna want to make government big again.
Mhm.
Those are the things that need to get done, so that no matter who comes in, the people still have the power. They take away our rights, and we got a taste of when they have all the power. Look, we were just talking to a Jay sister. That's what happens when they have all the power.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's scary, dude. I just think about that January 6th. Like, you could have just gone to peacefully protest, and I get it. I see the videos of people going uh into the House of Representatives or whatever. I, if I was there, would I have done it? Probably not. But
But let me ask you this: have you seen the videos when they're opening the doors and
yeah,
moving the ropes and waving them in? Would
yeah,
you have walked if you had someone in front of you doing that?
no.
You
No,
wouldn't.
I wouldn't have done it. But my point isn't so much like the police were waving them in. They thought it was they thought it wasn't because it looked like they weren't in trouble, right? My point is, it wasn't just those people. They had people in the vicinity. Like, dude, I was just in Washington, and I was in the little circle that they drew on the map, and
Mhm,
now
mhm.
I'm locked up for 4 years. That's a political prisoner. That's just not
Yeah.
right
And
in the
and
United States, dude.
yeah.
That's a
And that's
good
what I
point.
thought, and that's what I thought that day too, when everything was kind of playing out. And I think JD kind of uh said it, that I didn't see any. I was surprised there was no Antifa, no counter protest, because throughout that whole year, any rally, MAGA thing that was happening, they were showing up, and there was, there's some clashes here and there.
Well, they were
And
there. They were just
yeah,
disguised
they were
as
in it, but
maggots.
I'm saying, like, overall, like, them coming out and being themselves and doing what they had done the entire year. To me, it was, that's what kind of made it weird to me. I was like, how are they not here? You know what I mean? And yeah, like Danny said, they're mixed in with, you know, the, and it was all coordinated. Waving
Mhm.
them all in, making them feel, in a sense, right?
The-
Like what Danny's saying, like if someone's waving you in, you see a police officer or
It's a
whatever,
setup. I'll walk off
they,
the plank for a cop.
you know,
Pause.
that they're waving you in, you're gonna feel a little bit more comfortable, because it's like, oh, this guy's, police officer,
Yeah.
position of authority. He's allowing us to come in. It's inviting us in.
Yeah.
So I understand why many people went in, and like you said, right? If they were in that circle, that imaginary circle that they drew, and they're getting charged for things, the guy, what was his name? Is it Enrique, the Proud Boy leader? Enrique Tario, I think is his name. I might be off a little bit, but I think he got charged for ripping down a BLM banner as a hate crime that day or the day before. So I don't think he was even there, but it was
Oh
all
yeah, you're right.
connected.
You're right. Yeah.
So, but it was just something stupid as like ripping a banner.
Yeah, you have to be careful doing that sort of thing, like ripping a banner, because
Nah, brother.
it's
If you could
No.
burn an American
if
flag, I could rip a
it's
fucking BLM banner.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but like if it's it could be considered like a campaign type thing. Like, let's say a campaign paid for that banner, you might not realize that it was uh, John Doe's campaign for
Well,
District 2 that
well,
paid for that banner, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden it's like, oh, Now you just broke the law.
But criminal charges.
Who
I
paid
mean,
for
I would imagine a citation, a fine, pay for the sign, but to get put it, to be, I don't
Let
know.
me
Oh
put
yeah,
it
no,
to you this way: if they allow it for one side, it's got to be fair for the other side.
no, I don't
So
want that. I don't want
the,
that. I don't want that for either side. It's not right. I'm not saying
no,
that
no,
it
but the
shouldn't have
point
been like
is that they shouldn't be allowed to do that without any consequences. And then when the other side does it, there's
Mhm.
consequences. That's
Yeah.
what the point is.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it's silly. Like if it's who just said it? Like if what if you burn the American flag? Nobody cares. Like what big deal? Like just make them buy a new one. Um,
But
I don't
same
know.
thing for the BLM flag.
Yeah, just buy a new one.
Someone burns it, just make them buy a new one. Same thing.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it's got to be equal on both sides. You can't
they're made in
go
China
and get
anyways.
arrested for and getting charged for burning one and not the other.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, I mean, it's just overall the whole J6 thing, right? And all the charges they brought on people, like we were talking about earlier, it was all stupid,
It was
politically
disgusting.
motivated. It's an embarrassment of the justice system, but you got people going in there like Cash Patel and Hegseth and like I said Tulsi and all them and you know
Bondi.
hopefully what Danny said is they do everything they can to keep the Constitution intact, fortify it, whatever you got to do it, but it stays as is so that nobody after this comes and you know
Hmm.
Yeah,
tries to
look,
undo, because that's been the goal, undo the Constitution. That Constitution has been in their way.
They put their hand on the Bible and swear to uphold the Constitution. Back to root cause, common sense. That's what they're swearing to do.
Yeah.
the truth always comes out. And yesterday, the truth came out on January 6th. It was all bullshit.
Mhm.
How did the truth come out? Because Joe Biden signed a pardon for everybody involved on the other side that was accusing them of wrongdoing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
If he didn't sign that, if he signed that, then what did they do wrong?
And as the
Hey, you know what?
person.
I'm going to answer that. If
Mhm.
he didn't sign that legally with proof, it would have been proven they did something wrong and they would have been held accountable. That's that's if he wouldn't have pardoned the entire J6 committee. That would have happened. If now that he did pardon them, it's admission of guilt. So,
I don't know if anything would have happened to them though.
well, it
I,
depends.
Depends, yeah.
I like it's like I think the proof would have came out? Yeah. But do I think anything would have happened? I think you know what I think? What difference at this point does it make? You know who said
I
that?
think
What difference at this point does it make? That's what Hillary Clinton said when the truth came out about Benghazi.
Okay, so are
Nothing
we
happened to
saying
her.
that
She
the
ran for president.
Trump administration wouldn't have, you know, gone with the rule of law in that case? He would have just forgiven it.
I don't think so. I think it would have came up. I think Trump was gonna pardon if it wasn't all J6ers like he did yesterday. I think he would have pardoned. I think JD had said he was gonna at least do the misdemeanor ones, and I think that had they not been pardoned, that some of them probably would have gone after that committee legally, and then it would have all came out that way.
No, I like what he did. I like how he just did a pardon across the board, and he said it. He said because they asked him like, well, what about the people that injured the police officers or whatever, and he was just like, look at our justice system. We have actual murderers and that serve less time than these people have been serving. They've been locked up for 4 years. Don't you think it's time for them to be set free?
Yeah.
Like, let's
Yeah.
stop
Well,
messing around.
you can't have unusual. What is it? Cruel and unusual punishment. And I mean, the punishment has to fit the crime. And to say the fact that any of those people did 4 years. I mean, J6 was nothing. I mean, yeah, it was people didn't like what it looked like, but in the end of the day,
Hey,
it was
but
nothing.
here's the thing: if you use that argument, the punishment has to fit the crime. The liberals, Democrats, they would have said that was treason, what they did, and that's extreme. And you know what's punishable by treason?
Well, death.
Y-
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
with
that's why you
Biden,
can't
yeah,
play that game with
yeah,
them.
yeah.
You see what I'm
let's
saying?
let's
That's why
not forget how the justice system in this country works. It's all about precedent. What's happened before, and if you look at January Sixers going and destroying federal property. What happened just a few months before with these Democrats up in Portland and Seattle that were destroying federal buildings?
Yeah.
Nothing. Slap on the wrist. They were released the next day. In fact, Kamala Harris was helping bail them out.
yeah.
So why
Yeah.
why couldn't that happen for January 6th?
Brother, to me,
You start going with that again. If you start going with president, and I
It's
do get it that
unconstitutional.
certain court cases do set president, but if we start playing that game, when the government has the power, the politicians have the power, that president only applies to the people and not to them. To the point that you said with Hillary, is I'm sure there should have been the consequences, but she stood up in front of Congress or whatever committee she was in front of with television cameras rolling. What difference does it make now? That's what they would tell us. And that's why I keep going back to upholding the Constitution. Is that if that happens, there's equal judgment, and the law the, of rule applies to everybody equally.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. You're right. And it needs to be upheld. I agree with you, and I would hope that these next 4 years is about upholding the Constitution, set forth the precedent of upholding the Constitution and the law of the land, whether that's the federal law or state law, local laws. You know, we just need to start upholding the law. You know that
Well,
our representatives put those laws in for a reason.
yeah, and look, there was a little bit of a discussion in a prior podcast. Is that it, a lot of people think that constitutional republic really doesn't apply when you break it down to the states and counties and stuff like that, but it does. It's supposed to. Is that it? What sense does it make if you're in a specific state and they're coming up with laws that are unconstitutional, and they're
Comes first.
stripping you away from your rights? Then what is the point? There is no point. And then the discussion went into, well, when they pass these things, then they go through the court system, they're deemed unconstitutional, boom, now they're irrelevant. It's like it never existed. And then they come up with another one, and while that one's working its way through the court system, and then it's deemed unconstitutional, now they start all over. It's a game, and when we engage in that game, they won. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, man. Well, you guys got anything else? Ooh.
No, no. It's just I'm excited for the next 4 years. I think the first 48 hours of Donald Trump's presidency have gone as I would hope it to go. Um,
Mhm.
I don't agree with everything he's done, but most of what he's done, and I can't find a real reason to hate anything that he's done. Right.
Mhm.
Um, and I just hope that it continues like this. Like we just start seeing these great actions go through because really it's making our country better.
Mhm.
I mean, can we argue that the
Yeah.
country's not going to be better with these new executive actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, excuse me. What I'll add to that is not to sound like a broken record, but if he starts going against the Constitution and our rights, it's game over. And I'm excited about what's to come, but in the back of my mind, I'm looking for signs that he's going to start backpedaling and not do what he said he was going to do. Because we've said it on this podcast before, we're not depending on one person, one man, one woman, you know, um, as if they're our savior, because that's just not the fact. He's human. Everybody, all of these other politicians are human. We're all flawed, and we just got to hold them accountable, straight up.
I
So
agree with you, Danny, and we have to call them on when they're doing things that are unconstitutional or things that don't make sense. I'm not one to hide my opinions. Like in the group chat we have, when when Elon did the little thing yesterday, I was quick to be like, man, that's like, I know he didn't mean it in a certain way, but when you give the other side fuel to talk to change the discussion, when we should have been talking about these great things that are going on, when they should be debating, you know uh what do you think about the national energy emergency? No, we're talking about, oh, my heart goes out to you. Like,
can I tell you something that I noticed on the last time Trump was holding office, 2016? Okay. So what does the media like to do? They like to focus on certain stories and just beat it to death, right? And spin it um, to their benefit, right? So they're feeding the monster, right? They're manipulating us. And I've got a theory. So this whole um, what's that damn visa called? H-1B1
H1B. Yeah.
visa. I have a theory is that they did that on purpose, so all the talking heads focus over here and make a big deal about that while they're working on other things. There's confirmations going on. I know they have the majority and everything like that, but I noticed that when he was trying to get people confirmed, he would prop someone up and they would talk. Um, they would rip them apart. They would do the whole
Test the
what
waters.
smear.
Campaign.
What But what
The
Nancy
wrap up
Pelosi
smear.
called wrap up smear. They would do the whole wrap up smear. That person would step back. The next one's up, and he would get that one confirmed. And if you look back, that was a technique. It happened more than 3 times that he did that. And it's one of those things where what? Let's feed the monster. Let's have them focus on this stupid ass idea and have them run with it while they're freely working on something else because they would be attacking something else. You give them something easy like this, dude. They're
Hey,
gonna
what,
go
what the fuck,
bonkers.
Danny?
they stopped
What
talking
the,
about the they
what the
stopped
fuck
talking
was
about the
that,
bra.
Danny?
They stopped talking about the
Danny,
bra.
Yep.
what the
So
fuck did I just see on my screen, Danny? Whoo,
He sent
Danny,
his heart out to you, Christian.
Danny,
Stop it.
I don't want to say it with
He
the
just
race
sent
my
his
girl.
heart out to
She's
you.
Jewish. That
Hey,
was
I
crazy.
did a DNA test. I am 2% Jewish.
Being the liberal of the
Oh,
group.
Mazel
I'm
tov.
African. I'm from
No, well,
Morocco.
you know what I noticed today because I did hear them talking about the Roman salute was I was catching myself do it. I noticed my elbows got a 90-degree angle and it tends it tends to only go one way. And I
Christian's
was
going
trying to
outside
do it,
like, morning, neighbor.
brother. I was trying to do it backwards, see but hey, bro, this is from my heart to you guys. Boom.
Have a good day,
See
buddy.
what you're doing, Danny? COJ is contagious. Oh man.
But no, you guys are right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me, those things are you said it in the chat. It's so stupid. I mean,
Say what I said,
if
Danny.
you ask me, it, that's what I think. Anyways, it's like give them something to, it's like the frenzy.
hmm
Feed them a little something so that
Yeah.
they can get distracted from attacking everything else, type of thing.
But I see those things. I see those things. I don't see those things like, oh man, he just did the. I see it like, ah shit. Like now I'm gonna have to hear about this for the next 3 days.
So
Like
what? Let
I,
them, let them. It's like they're feeding the frenzy. It's like
anything
we're not a part of that frenzy. It's like
The
let them go
fringes,
past.
yeah.
They
The,
already
the,
anything
lost.
the,
anything
the,
that me and Daniel post and me and Daniel post on X for the next 3 days are gonna be torn apart for all the wrong reasons.
no,
I
but it's like what I was saying earlier. The ones that are crazy and are gonna buy it anyways are just they're there. They're gonna buy it either way. Doesn't
Everybody's
matter how you explain
distracted.
it to them.
well, we got
Everybody's
soldiers. We
distracted.
got soldiers out there because I've seen maybe 3, 4, 5 pictures of AOC throwing out the Roman salute. So
No, but Danny's right though. It's everybody's distracted. The
Yeah.
left is talking about Elon doing that, and the right is talking about somebody wearing a bra to the inauguration. Like nobody really gives a damn, right?
Yeah.
Well, they
guys,
made a
just
big deal about that. I got home and I heard about it right away, and I didn't even know it freaking happened. So it's like,
just just one question, guys. One last question. You guys don't got like kids or like a family? You guys have to be the head of household right now. Where you guys
Right
we
now?
did a whole Joe Rogan podcast.
Hey,
my kids are grown. You're
yeah,
Oh yeah,
falling asleep,
you're
bro. You
old,
want to?
Danny. You're old.
My
yeah.
kids
No, I've
know
been
America
out.
comes first.
Yeah. That's why I told him I was like, I'm gonna go save America real
So
quick.
Daddy's a patriot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. This is my
That's
no, but
that's why we have wives, Christian.
yeah.
They hold it
Yeah, that's
down
what
while
That's
happens
your
after you're
fault.
married so long.
No, but to kind of wrap this up though, no, I think what you guys are saying, right? We'll see what happens in the next 4 years. I don't think maybe I'm kind of I don't know if this is optimism or what, but I don't think Trump's gonna backpedal. I think what we have to see is how the House and the Senate handle this.
You're right.
Are they gonna deliver, or are those rhinos and those damn Democrats gonna, you know,
Mhm.
the people that are anti-American? I'll just put it that the Uniparty, whatever you want to call them. What
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Because I don't feel like Trump will backpedal. I feel like he'll try to get it done, and he has the opportunity with the majorities that he has. But it's what are they gonna do? Because sometimes you see some of these these confirmation hearings, and you hear things like, damn, they don't know if they have the votes for this person, or it might be hard to get Tulsi confirmed. And it's like, why? You know what I mean? Because you got Republicans in there that, you know, they don't they want to be a roadblock. So that's what I want to see. I want to see who's gonna be a roadblock, and hopefully in 2026, after they stand up and put themselves out there, those people get voted out, because I think that's one of the only things that's going to stop what we think can happen from happening, is the politicians in the House and the Senate. So we'll see what happens with that. That's where I kind of get my, what do you call it, have my reservations on, is on that group.
Yeah. And that's a really good point. The good thing that happened is that I think people got a sense of the power that we have. Is that how many times did we get told that he was going to win? They tried to arrest him, they tried to assassinate him, and the people said, "We don't believe you, and we're going to vote him in," and that's what happened. So it empowers people. So hopefully we start holding accountable what you're talking about, all the members of the Senate and Congress. So if they start, with their shenanigans, they're out.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see where we are and what happens, and we'll continue to call it out. We'll call out the manipulation, the gaslighting, and all that good stuff, and you know, we'll if Trump is the one that backpedals, we'll call him out too.
Yeah. Well,
But
God bless you guys,
100%.
and hopefully Christian's uncle doesn't get deported.
no.
He wasn't my uncle.
Christian, you should just self-deport, bro.
Daniel's uncle.
It was just a little bit of meth.
Hey, bro, there's been a couple families we've helped with these anchor babies, dude. We're a necessity, so I'm glad that takes part in 30 days from now, or else, hey, dude, for Leah, not for me.
What about my anchor babies, Christian? You haven't started yet, dude. Like
I
you
got
gotta
a
get
whole
these
army
anchors.
of them, dude.
You
You
got
gotta
30
get
days.
anchors, dude.
All right then, guys. Well, thanks for everybody tuned in. Catch us next time. This is episode 100. Here's to 100 more.
Congratulations, guys. God
All
bless.
right. Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.
Peace to China.
Go to sleep,
What
Christian.
the fuck? Don't zoom in.